All right. Yo, test. Okay, no, this is good. Let me check my mic thing. Yo. I think we're working. All right, y'all, we're live, man. We're live. Let me get this up. I should probably hook my headset up. That way I can hear what it's saying. Anyways, man, we're live over here. Back for another. Hey, man, it's been a while since we've done a live stream, but y'all see the title: Free Agency, the Draft. This was kind of a random stream. I didn't actually plan this out at all. I just got off of Bleacher Report. We did our. I did another free agency stream. Oh, there it is. I did another free agency stream today on Bleacher Report, man. It got me kind of hyped up. It's like we need to have some like discussion. I don't know what the discussion needs to be, but we should talk free agency a little bit. Maybe talk draft a little bit. I don't know. Whatever happens, we just got to discuss some things. But we haven't really done anything yet for free agency, and I think we're gonna start getting to that soon. For me, it's been a lot of just like catching up on the draft as fast as possible. So my focus has kind of went there. But free agency is the quicker thing to get here. We still have some time right now. It's kind of just coaching news that's kind of just dripping right now. Is every once in a while we'll go hire a coach. So there's not a lot of happening, but I think we're kind of in the early stages of like, okay, what's the outlook? What are we expecting in free agency? And some of these names that I've watched to do these Bleacher Report streams, like I'm intrigued by. It's got the juices flowing. Like, okay, what if we did this? Like it gets me hyped because I definitely want to do some mock off season soon. I thought about trying to do one live, but I'm like, I don't think I could do one, to be honest. It would be a pretty boring mock off season. Like I could talk through free agency, not everybody, but a solid amount of players. The draft, though, I might be able to give you a 1-round mock. I could give you a 2-round mock. I can honestly probably I might be able to give you a 3. The problem is there's so many guys that I don't know that I just wouldn't draft because I don't know them. So doing a mock draft part of a mock off season, not the move right now. So that's why we're gonna, kind of do both. And I think everybody's kind of in that same category, which is fine. By the way, this live stream being brought to you by BetUS, so use code YouTube150 to get that 150% deposit match on your first deposit, 125% next 2 deposits. We're gonna check that out here in a second. I get the first comment. Give me Khalil Mack. So today I did the list today, and it was 5. Well, not household. It was 5 big name free agent targets. That's what I called it. And one of the names that I thought of was Khalil Mack. Now I got off of it. I didn't get there on Khalil Mack mainly because the price tag. But I thought about it, man. Like that was one I heavily considered. I went cheaper, with our options than Khalil Mack, but I wrote him down. I just went cheaper. What is he? 32 years old. Like I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at going after an older defensive end. I think people would have. I don't have a problem with that. I'm with it. I think we're in that category right now. I'm perfectly fine with that because the guy that I did talk about was older too. So I'm perfectly fine with that. But I just didn't get there because I thought what the price point might get to. How much money will we realistically have after signing our guys? Now, that's a good question. I mean, I guess it just depends on how many, right? But that's actually a good question. I mean, we could do something like that live here. We can kind of walk through it a little bit. I mean, I don't know what these dudes are going to get paid. And then to that question, the problem is how are they structured, right? Like, because here's how I'm looking at it. I don't think there's much of a concern as much of how much the Lions have in cap space this year. I think the concern is more so about what it's going to look like going forward. Like, I'm not really worried about the Lions cap space this year. It's a thing, but the way they typically structure deals, I don't think it's going to be a big issue. Even if they re-sign some of their big names, I don't expect them to be like making splash moves in free agency, but they could have maybe 1 or 2, maybe depending on how many of their guys they bring back. Maybe more like 1 if it's a massive move. So I don't think that's a concern, but that's why a guy like Khalil Mack, guys that are older, could make more sense. Guys that are coming off an injury, because I think for them it's more about like, well, once these extensions start to hit, how are we going to have flexibility? Because you lose that flexibility once you give it a 4-year deal. That's going to be, and honestly, that goes to our own players. Like that's Levi. Do you give Levi multiple years? I don't know. And I think I brought it up on our. I don't know if I brought it. I think I brought it up on our show, the little clip that I threw over here. But I threw the clip over here. Like the time that things really went wrong for the Lions in free agency was the very beginning. It was the extension of Tracy. It was the extension of Romeo. And I was with it. Like, y'all remember that? When it was like, hey, Romeo or Kenny? And it was like, oh, they're going with Romeo. And we were like, all right, let's do that. I think most people are on board. Like, go get the pass rusher. Bring that guy back. Now, in hindsight, neither of them worked out. I mean, to be honest. But I would say Romeo worked out a little bit better because I don't know. Neither of them really worked out, but it was because of injury. It just fell flat because of injury. So I think that's the key this year. I don't think they're going to have too many problems just like bringing guys in. I think it's just going to be like, who do they want to connect themselves with going forward long term? And that's why I think that if you can get guys coming off injury, maybe it's an older player, something like that, you could potentially spend a little bit more money. Or like for example, our own players, that come back on a short term deal. Just put up like 4 guys for a chat room to vote, do each pick and talk about the guys you like for a mock off season. Here's what I'm I mean, we could do like a mock draft for fun. We could do one more live. I don't have any issue with that. I think I'm going to try to hold off my full mock off season until next week because I do like to come in with like some strategy. That way I can kind of list out the numbers. That way I'm not all over the place because it'll take a long time. But I'm definitely going to do them. I think I'm just going to aim for next week when I can kind of like lay it out. Just at least have some sort of foundation. We could still do it live, whether I make it or not pre. But I think next week is when we're going to do that. That's when I'll fully do it. But we could talk through the other stuff. Anyways, though, so I put free agency first. And if y'all didn't see this, and here's the thing, I can't show clips over there anymore, which is disappointing. I was upset. It's like, man, I can't show clips. That's my thing. I like showing clips of players. So I actually don't have any clips saved. I just showed player names and pictures of them. But I don't know. I guess that's what most people do. You just show a picture of the guy. That's fine. So I guess he just had to take my word for what I was saying. And that's okay. But I did come up with like list of guys for 2 different topics. And the 2 topics that we did was, like I said, today were like big name free agents, which I think we should talk about. We could talk about some of those guys that I didn't include. And then I did on Wednesday under the radar free agent targets. And there's a couple of those that I still really like. Some of them I don't know that would actually fit. But like one guy that stands out is so I don't think receivers getting a lot of talk this offseason. And I think receivers interesting. Definitely don't think we're going to spend a bunch of money at receiver. Like I don't think that's even on the table. But I think it's interesting, right? Tim Patrick got to make a decision. He's 31 years old. Do you bring him back? They definitely could, right? There's an overlap with John Morton. They might do that. I would be fine with it too. And he kind of fits into the, same kind of production range. And I think John Morton likes that style because of what he'd bring. And he actually may use him a little bit differently, John Morton, than what we did, I think, potentially. But a guy that caught my eye was like Nick Westbrook-Akine. I think I'm saying his name right out of Tennessee. That was the guy I brought up in that video on Wednesday. And I went back today watching for other players, and I'm noticing him again. Like, that dude would make a lot of sense. Because, like, that's one of those guys where it almost feels like that might be, like, the cap on how much they'd actually be willing to spend on a receiver this offseason, if even sign one at all. Well, they'll sign somebody for depth. But he's 28 years old, going into 28 years old. He's about to be 28. The guy's coming off a 500-yard season, but 9 touchdowns. It was kind of like his breakout year. Like, a player like that, and I could show some clips for our live, someone like that I feel like could be, like, the peak of how much they'd be willing to spend. Because there could be a lot of interest around the league. But he's like a perfect number 3, maybe number 2 if you had to have him that guy. But he's got the size, kind of like Tim Patrick, 6'2", 210. Different play style. But he would fit in maybe better in some like the back shoulders, get him one-on-one in the red zone. I mean, 9 touchdowns is a ton. 9 touchdowns means you were eating. I know Tim Patrick had his – look, again, I think they're going to want Tim Patrick back. But if they wanted to go a little bit younger, maybe lock him up on a couple-year deal, I think a guy like Westbrook is super interesting. So, like, that's where I was getting from my under-the-radar guys, and that's one that stuck with me that I think makes a ton of sense. Sweat in free agency, Ty Robinson in the draft. Ty Robinson was awesome at the Senior Bowl. I'll be honest, I haven't watched him since the Senior Bowl. He was awesome at the Senior Bowl. Like, he's one of my favorites, man. I'm like, this dude is all over the place. He was cool, man, because you noticed him, like, day one, and then it was like, as the Senior Bowl continued, it's like, this guy's doing work a little bit. And the D-line's so good this year. Now, certain guys that I think have been hyped up, I've fallen off. I mean, that's how it goes, right? If I'm coming in not having knowledge of these dudes, then all of a sudden, Senior Bowl, and you're fired up about everybody's amazing. Then you come back and you watch, you're like, okay, he's fine. He's a good player. Like, that kind of thing. That's how I got on some of these guys. I guess that's just natural. But I haven't watched Ty Robinson yet. I haven't done it yet. Sweat to me, I think, would it make you unhappy? That's fantastic, Brent. Sweat's price is the problem, like, for long term. Because, like, I'm looking at, so for example, so today I did, what did I do? I did defensive ends. I included 2 defensive ends, but it was really only 1. So, I don't think free agency is great for defensive ends from what I've been able to see. So there's that issue. Now, we don't have to get a defensive end in free agency. I mean, outside of maybe depth, we don't even have to do that with Josh Paschal under contract. And then, of course, depending on what happens, if Levi's brought back, you definitely don't have to. Because I think when a lot of people point to pass rusher, it doesn't have to be a defensive end. It could also be the Derek Barnes role, maybe a little bit there too, a guy that could rush from that spot. And then obviously Za'Darius is still under contract, depending on what they do there. So if they go get a defensive end, it'll probably be in the same move of moving off of Za'Darius. That'd be my assumption, is that they would also move off Za'Darius at the same time. And then it's like, okay, but are they bringing Levi back? The need right now isn't that high because of where they're at. Like if they did nothing, they're in a pretty good spot. They're in a pretty good. I mean, they'd be fine. They'd be fine at defensive end. It would just be a little expensive. You know what I mean? That'd be the problem. Bringing back Levi, I'd say doing nothing is bringing back Levi. It'd just be expensive. But like for me, because I don't love the DN class, especially for short-term deals, like the big name that caught my eye was Malcolm Kuntz because he's coming off the injury. Last season, he barely played last season. He's coming off a significant knee injury, which, hey, everybody loves those. Let's bring in guys with injuries. Hey, you know, I got no problem with it. It's just what the Lions do. But I think that kind of thing is going to be good for them. And honestly, we'll see how this offseason goes. But the more I see things like this, like I know I've said this before, it's like free agency usually is guys that are either one coming off an injury or two, they're just kind of getting older. So teams aren't like extending them and bringing them back, or maybe there's like an off the field issue. Like that's what free agency typically feels like it's full of. And then you get like a couple like outliers where it's like that guy's about to get paid a ton, but there's like no red flags. It's like, hey, this guy is very good, not an injury history, like a massive injury history. He's not coming off one that cut him for the whole season. And he's not very old. He's like in his prime. Like that, those guys barely hit free agency like at any position. I think this year we have a few of those at corner, but all of them have their reasons, I guess you could say, for being like Asante Samuel Jr. had a down season this past year, right? And I think there's going to be some teams that are like, I don't know if he really fits for us. Size-wise, obviously there's that, but that's what free agency usually feels like. So I think what the Lions have done in the past, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I think it's very possible that this free agency looks very similar to the other ones. And here was the little rant. I want to see if I have, because I see y'all throwing names. I'm going to get to those for sure. I have this. Let me see. And by the way, I don't know every free agent available. So let me just make that clear. Like I'm still very early into this as well. But I can talk about some players. I want to see if I can watch this replay back. So I had like a little, I don't want to call it like a rant. Oh, it is, I can watch it back. Okay, I'm going to show you this clip. So this was, I was live, like I said, I was live at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, it's going to be, oh, this is going to look goofy. But I'm going to show you all this anyway. Because it hit me, right? I was speaking and I was like, ooh, this sounds good. Like it came to my mind. And I was like, no, this is true. This is I think this is true. So I have this clip. I'm gonna show this clip. All right, like kind of my thoughts on free agency because I know y'all have seen it. I of course have seen it. I've done videos on it, like the trades. Like, oh man, are they one move away? That's like a headline in the offseason. If a team's good but they don't win a Super Bowl, they're one move away. Like I hear that all the time. And as I was doing this show, I had like a, you know, just like a moment. I was like, wait a minute. This is how I'm thinking about it. So I'm going to play this because what I was doing, I was talking about Jaron Reed. Jaron Reed is a free agent this offseason, and I think that he'd be a potential really good fit behind DJ Reader. Like I think what we need, if we're talking needs for free agency, like DJ Reader, backup nose tackle, we'll see on Broderick, right? But at this point, I consider a guy like DJ Reed a win now move. Like, I think a lot of times we think about that as it has to be the trade. I would consider that a win-now move. And then here was my explanation for why. So I'm going to play this clip. Maybe not the whole thing. It's only a couple minutes. I think I explained it well here, but maybe I didn't. I'm going to be honest. I was live. Nobody was giving me feedback, so I don't know. Maybe this was goofy. Maybe this made no sense. I'm going to play it. Let me make sure people can hear it. Can we hear this? There should be sound, right? Okay. Y'all can hear that? Do you think we'd be better up front with Jalen Carter? Oh, dude, we'd definitely be better up front with Jalen Carter. And watching the Eagles, I was sitting there like, I still would have been cool if we took Jalen Carter. Like, hey, we got Gibbs. Have we got Gibbs? I was, bro. I was all with Carter the whole time, man. Like, I was with Carter, man, and not like actually with him, but like the idea of taking Carter first, I was on board with that, dude. Like, if we were gonna take Carter first, I was on board with it. All right, I won't even worry about playing it then. I could try to play it. I think I know how to fix it, but I'm not even worried about it. Basically, my explanation was this. We should consider moves like that, the one-year veteran, that kind of move, the win-now move. Like, that should be considered, I think, the one move. Because I don't think any team's really one move away. Like, if we made one move, doesn't guarantee we're going to win the Super Bowl. You know, I don't see it like that because, look, man, we didn't lose our playoff game because one thing went wrong. It's like, yeah, a lot of things went wrong in that game. So just based on that alone, like multiple things would have to get right. But I do think like we should maybe consider some of these when you get a veteran or you make because what the Lions, we know what they do in free agency is they fill needs. And they'll get their guys that are maybe younger, that have upside, they're coming off an injury, that kind of thing. They'll bring him in. If he plays well, maybe they'll give him an extension. That's typically how they do free agency. But like those moves where you're almost blocking out a young guy, and you don't want to do that, but in some ways you're kind of oh, is my mic off? Mic's good. Test. Yo. Should be good. Fix my mic. Oh, did I mess it up? Okay, wait a second. Might have switched. Yeah, might have switched. Okay, now it's better. I think I switched to the wrong one. I got this new audio interface. So I'm really trying to figure this thing out. It's got static. Yo, shout out to StreamYard, man, for being goofy. Here, let me see. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to refresh. All right, y'all know the drill. Let me refresh. Give me a second. Okay, I'm assuming that it's fixed. Let me see. Oh, this thing's pretty responsive. Yeah. Okay, it's good. Yeah, it's just StreamYard. This does it every time. Every time we live, man. StreamYard does this every time. If I switch the audio output, the input jacks up. It makes no sense. You can't adjust things in StreamYard without having to refresh. I don't know why it's like that. I should have used OBS. I set it up to use OBS. I don't know why I didn't. I didn't even think about it. But anyway, so I think we should consider those kind of moves. So, like in this case, say you sign a Jaron Reed, right? He's your backup nose tackle. You gave him a 1-year deal, but it wasn't like a minimum deal. It was more than like what you gave Kyle Pecco this last offseason. Like you're signing a legitimate contract, short-term deal. He's an older player, but it's not coming off an injury. It's strictly age. So you know there's not really a long-term aspect there. And yeah, like he's not an elite pass rusher, but he's gotten some pass rush production. I'm a sound engineer. Definitely not that. But I have these options. Watch this. Hold up. Oh, no, this might mess something up. Okay, wait, hold up. Tell me if this does something.
This is called Monster. I don't know if anything changed. I tried to do this last stream. I don't think it changed. Oh, yeah, no, it did. Okay, so there's that option. I can change my voice. There's like a lot of features on this thing.
Elder?
Oh, we gotta do Elder. Alright, now we're just, yeah. I gotta do Elder. I gotta see what Elder was. This is not Elder. This is still Monster. This is still... Okay, okay, I shouldn't have clicked anything. Can I just turn it off?
Turn it off. Okay. Yeah, that is what it sounded like. It's got like all these features, bro. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's like lit up. It changes things. So we got like y'all know how people got like the buttons where it like plays like a sound. Like I have that option now. I haven't hooked anything up, but like I can record sounds and put them in there. So like it just plays a sound. I want to get Rad's you're tripping in there. I want to do that. There's a lot of buttons I haven't clicked on here though. I shouldn't do those live. Yeah, let me not do that because I'm not gonna know how to fix it. Okay. But yeah, man, like I think that should be looked at as that's the one move. Like I see I think I saw it today. Like, yo, Lions one move away if they make this move to win a Super Bowl. Like I think that's goofy, man. I understand it, right? It's a big splash, it's a big swing, but it's like those are the kind of moves. Like if the Lions go out and they have a young guy in place as a backup, that's the developmental piece, and they went in free agency and signed a guy that essentially kind of steps over that player in that role for a short term, which is not ideal, but they know that they're getting stability at that positional group. To me, that's a win now move because you're spending more money for a single season. It's not a situation where you can backload it because we like to the question earlier, like if I give a 3-year deal, I can make his cap at $3 million this year. If I give a 1-year deal, though, it's tough to do that because now it's either void years or he's getting it right away, or that cap hit's hitting right now. So now I'm just paying for a guy that's not here. To me, that's a win now move, even if it's not a big contract. And I think that kind of thing should get more discussion rather than just like, oh, if you make the big trade, is that the one move you need to make? Like, no, those are the kind of moves that the Lions don't make that often, is those kind of moves. And I bring up Jaron Reed because I think it'd be more expensive than what Kyle Pecco was. It'd also be much more proven that, like, Pecco was, he had some ups, had some downs. You're hoping with the D-line coach, like, this is going to work, and then he got hurt. That kind of stuff happens. But that would be kind of thing where it's like, yo, now I know next season when I have to go to my backup, I'm going to be stable. Like, it's not going to fall off a cliff. You know, I don't want to have DJ Reader have to play every single snap. Like, that's not ideal. So can I have a rotation there? So that's how I'm looking at this. And I don't know how I got to this conversation, but everybody kind of fit that category. But yeah, the one big edge guy that I listed was Malcolm Kuntz from the Raiders. I listed him because he's coming off the injury, to be honest, because it's like, well, he might get a shorter term deal. And think about this. Tell me if I sound crazy, but like this made sense to me. So y'all tell me. So say the Lions signed a guy like Malcolm Kuntz, and PFF is projecting he gets a 2-year, $18.25 million deal, right? So let's just, keep it basic there, 18 and a half a year. That to me, as long as you checks out medically and you were confident like he's going to play this year. I mean, if something pops up again, that's not ideal, right? But medically, you're like, okay, we're good here. We know he's coming off the missed year. But if you gave that kind of deal, to me, that could make a lot more sense than saying, okay, let's use Myles Garrett. We're trading for Myles Garrett essentially for 2 years, because I think the way you're going to have to do it is after 2 years, you either got to move off him, like trying to trade him away because you have to have an out in his contract, eat some dead money, try to trade him, get some sort of compensation in return, leave him on his original deal, which I don't think he's going to want to do. And at that point, you just let him walk. I don't even know that he'd want to do that. And then the third option is just pay him like big money and like, oh, we're just going to make this work. And then you lose like all of your flexibility. I don't even know how you would do that with Aleem and Hutch. And then you just start restructuring everybody. I guess you probably could. But it's like that versus going the other direction of like, okay, we just paid him. It's good money. It's still cheaper than what Myles would cost. Much cheaper unless you kind of reset his contract. You drop that cap number. But it's like, okay, it's expensive now. But long-term, I don't have the same ramifications. If he gets that 2-year deal that PFF is saying, now I just get kind of a rental in a sense where it's like I'm getting a very good, pressing into a great elite type of pass rusher opposite of Hutch. I don't have to give up any draft capital. Then when he's done, say I sign him on a 3-year deal. If that 3rd-year deal has outs, there's probably dead money, but less than it would be with Garrett after an extension. Like you're going to have legitimate dead money there because he's not going to take no guarantees. So then I have maybe a little bit of dead money, but I actually get something in return for that 3rd year because he, at that point, the guy's going to be 28 years old. You would trade him away at 28. And if he has 2 good seasons with the Lions, he's going to have a lot of value. Now, if he doesn't have a good seasons, then yeah, it wasn't a good signing, and that could happen anyway. But like to me, that I think about that, I'm like, that makes more sense, I think, than trading for a guy. Like if you really want to make that splash, I think I would just go make the splash in free agency. The problem is free agency isn't great for defensive ends. And then I think you question yourself like, okay, is a guy like Malcolm a big enough upgrade from a guy like Za'Darius? Because in this case, you'd cut Za'Darius, you'd save your $5+ million each year, makes that price even less expensive, and you just go a different direction. You don't bring back Davenport, that kind of thing. Like, that's the problem. Obviously, you're not getting that same level player, but I don't want to say it's over. It'd be amazing to see it. It'd be amazing to see it. But like the pushback of what that does to you financially is crazy, man. And I also don't want to take away draft picks from Brad Holmes. Not that many draft picks. It's fine if it's Carlton Davis. It's like, yo, I don't want to give away 2 first-round picks from Brad Holmes. It's like, that just gives me so much more flexibility. I can still build for the future. And then I have a pass rusher. Yeah, he's not Myles Garrett, but he's very good. He's a very good pass rusher. And him opposite of Hutch, like, we didn't even get to – I want to see Za'Darius opposite of Hutch. We had a fantastic pressure team with Hutch. We were great getting pressure after Hutch. We were better after Hutch at times. But it's like, yo, if you just did something like that, it feels much more like – look, if you're going to take the swing anyway, maybe you should just do it in free agency. So that's where the Khalil Mack – I'm not completely off the board of it. I mean, I didn't do it because I think he's going to get paid a ton. He's also much older. So I don't think there's as much value. Like if you got Khalil, that feels truly like a rental. Like I don't think if you had, say you signed Khalil to 2 years, say give him 3 years, and that 3rd year was an out, you tried to trade him away, I don't think there'd be any much value at all. I don't know if you get anything in return. And then if you just let him walk in free agency, maybe you get some sort of comp, but probably not because I don't think he'd cost enough. That's the concern for me with something like that is just like I don't know if I'm getting anything back. You may not get anything back from Malcolm. He's terrible, then yeah, you don't really get anything. You may not get a comp pick if he doesn't go get a massive deal. But he'll be young enough, or if he plays well, somebody would pay a guy big money being 28 years old. He's coming off 2 seasons. He may make more in 2 years. There's a path that a guy like that makes more in 2 years after his 2 years with the Lions than he would right now because he's coming off of really not playing at all. So that's what the Lions normally do. And I think that to me makes more sense. I think in a lot of ways that makes a lot more sense. It's much more realistic, and it sets the Lions up better long-term and short-term. So I think something like that is a Kwity Paye. We could get him if we give him a 3rd rounder. I like Kwity Paye. I'm going to be honest. I haven't watched much of him this season. I don't think he had an up season necessarily, right? Because they definitely went different directions there. So I would understand why they move off, right? Latu, then you got – well, Deo's also going to be a free agent. So would they move off him with Deo set to be a free agent? They got the dude from San Fran that's been really good for him. Is that Ebukam? Let me look that up. right? So he's probably considered a backup then. Is that what that is? Because you're saying Samson's, oh no, he's a starter over Latu. Okay, so they just go to Latu. I get that. Yeah, because Ebukam Deo's going to be all probably. Then you get Pay. I mean, I'm not mad at that. Like that's much more. Yeah, I think that's much more in the ballpark. And Quiddy Pay's play style, from what I know of him, makes a ton of sense. They're listing him as a left defensive end. So that'd be kind of doing what Hutch typically plays left defensive end. But I think his play style would work. Like you could make that work. Again, he's not Miles, but it's like, yeah, that's much more reasonable. And I don't think Quiddy Pay's like he's not coming off like an injury, right? It's kind of just they would be them just moving a different direction. So something like that to me makes a ton of sense. Like I'm with that. I like that idea, Steven. I think that's good. I think that's a good one. I gotta look into him. See, I never even hear that name. That's a good name. See, now we talking right now. Okay, now we're doing things. That's what we're doing. Is Josh Sweat a realistic option? I don't think it's as realistic because I think he's going to get a long-term deal. And, like, I just don't see us giving a long-term deal. I guess that would be the problem with Quiddy Pay as well, right? Like, I don't know. Do you trade for – if you give him a third, you don't have to extend him. It's kind of the Carlton Davis thing. But how many years does he have left? Because I don't think he's got an extension. So is this his final year? Yeah, this is his final year this year. And then you'd probably take on all of the guarantees because it's his fifth-year option. So you'd probably take on the entire $13 million. And that's definitely not cheap. You probably wouldn't have much flexibility there unless you extended it. That'd be the problem. That would be the problem. The financial would be the problem because I don't think you'd really be able to do much with it unless you just extended his deal out. Maybe threw some voids on, but I think you just have to extend that deal out. And I don't know that they'd want to extend his deal. But you could look at it from the Carlton situation, right? Like Carlton got 1 year, you may not bring him back. If it's a third rounder, you don't have to. And then we have some flexibility with third rounders now because we lost Glenn. See, I'm not mad at that one. I do want to see Za'Darius another year for sure. I think this answer would be so easy if he wasn't due money the year after this year. Like if it wasn't a situation of like, oh, he's got this dead cap after the season. Like if we didn't have to deal with that, I think it'd be very easy to be like, yo, just keep him. Like this year it's like his cap number is not something that's that concerning. It would be nice to open, but 5.7 million, like yeah, that's worth it for what he is production. The guy had 40 pressures. Like what he is production wise, that's fine. He's not a great run defender, but he's a very good pass rusher. So you want pass rush, you'd have very good pass rushers opposite. And I don't have an issue with doing it. The problem would just be after that deal, it'd be next season where he's not under the contract, where it's 5.2 million, which is still not crazy. It's still not crazy, but if you cut him now, you would open that money up immediately rather than having to just pay it next season for a guy that's not here. And I don't think they're going to extend Za'Darius. I don't think they're considering doing that. But I think that honestly, that kind of feels. I in some ways kind of feel like that's the only way to do it because Lions aren't set to have much cap space next year unless the cap number gets really high and it goes well above what it's anticipated to be. And it could. I mean, over the cap's projecting it at 290. If it gets like 310, this makes it a lot more reasonable to just not do it. However, if it doesn't move up, and I've heard people say that they don't think it's going to rise, I kind of doubt that because it usually always does. But like if it did settle in and the Lions like were kind of in a tight spot next year, there's not a lot of easy ways for them to create cap. And then at that point, you can't create cap. You'd have to deal with it because you've already made that decision. Take that back. There is ways to make cap next year. It's through the restructures, but not in terms of cuts. So I don't know. Maybe they would restructure somebody to kind of offset that. They could restructure. See, this is the flexibility they have. This is why Garrett was a possibility because, like, yo, if you restructure a guy like Sane or something that you know is going to be here, because I think next year they're absolutely going to do. They're not. I don't think they're going to leave Goff's cap number what it is. I think I would almost guarantee a restructure comes next year. Maybe even like some movement in his deal totally. But I would almost put money that they're going to restructure Goff's deal next season, which is about 70 million cap hit. I don't think they're going to leave it there. So. But even if you do that, like you still don't have a lot of flexibility depending on how high that number gets. I don't know. I think that's the biggest problem. But if they felt good about that they already know they're gonna restructure, I'm with it. It's just like it's kind of like you do it now or you don't do it, which is why I kind of thought that maybe they'd really be looking to like let's get a new deal for him. You don't want it to be long term. That's the problem. It's like we want a new deal, but we don't want it to be long term. But it's like maybe we try to get some kind of new deal done here where there actually is an out. Don't know how you pull that off, but if it's almost like if you could just make his cap number higher this year, then we could just kind of not have to deal with it all next year. Like if we could pull that off somehow, that would be interesting. That would make this a much easier decision. But yeah, I mean, look, I think Goff is going to get restructured. I don't know how many deals they're going to want to restructure, but they'll have the option to do it. If that number goes up, and they're expecting it to go up, because I'm sure they're ahead of these numbers than we are, way faster than we are, and they're going to do that anyway. Like, I want to keep Za'Darius. So I thought that was the perk of trading for him. It was like, yeah, you can get him with Hutchinson, or not with Hutchinson, but we get him for a second year. That was the. He's definitely a cheap, flexible option. I don't know if it's that flexible necessarily. Like, he could be flexible now. He's not flexible after this year. Like, you're just paying dead cap. And it's just like, because the Lions have so many extensions they've given out, there's not a lot of flexibility. Like, I think the one thing that really changed with the Lions is they minimized so much of their dead cap. Like, that was the change year after year, is they just got rid of a lot of dead cap. They weren't constantly having to deal with that. So you would just be kind of signing up for that. Like, right now, less than $9 million is dead cap for them. Less than 9. I mean, that's fantastic. It's Cam Sutton. Cam Sutton's almost all their dead cap. And that's because of, just things that you can't control there. I mean, I don't know. Gonna have to let, and that's the thing. There's not a lot of like obvious guys let go next year. I think the one that could be is Graham Glasgow. I think that could happen. I don't want to say that like for sure, but I think outside of Graham, there's not a lot of like if you go through the Lions, I can show it on the screen. If you look at the Lions cap next year, there's not a lot of obvious cuts. You're probably having to restructure guys. Like you can see it within the cap savings versus the dead money. You're not gonna cut unless you cut Frank, which I don't think they're gonna do that. So the option is restructure. The option is restructure with a lot of these guys because, like, you got Boyd's in here. You already got the dead here for DJ Reader. And Anzalone's got some dead money. Like, that's the problem. You would just be building up dead money. That's going to be the problem with it, is building up dead money. I want to keep Za'Darius for sure. For sure. But I think if you definitely go out there and you make a move for a defensive end in free agency, I think 100%, I'm pretty confident they move off Za'Darius. I'd feel pretty comfortable with that. Now, if it's like a smaller deal, then no, they'll probably keep him, and I'd like to keep him. Because I don't think honestly, if you're not gonna find a guy that's as productive as Za'Darius for 2 years, $10 million, or $11 million. I don't think you'll find that guy's not on the market, even if it's 1 year for 2 years. I mean, even if you thought about it for like he's 1 year, $11 million. Like it's gonna be hard to find Za'Darius production for 1 year, $11 million on the market. You may not be able to find that at all. So value wise, I think the value's there. But anyway, okay, I saw the Josh Sweat thing. So with that, I want to hit on a couple of these other names. I thought some of these were interesting. I can show some clips too. The Nick Akine one is interesting. Are we only on the Cook for Sutton for one more year? I think so. I think this is the last year for him. It should have all accelerated. I think it did. No, actually, I think they set it up differently. So maybe it is beyond this year, but I think it is this year. I always forget about the dang Sutton thing. Because usually that accelerates, but I think they set it up differently. They cut him June 1st, so it spread for 2 years. What year was that? Was that 2 years ago? Honestly, I don't even remember. Let me see. 2025. Yeah, so this should be the last year of his dead money, I think. According to Over the Cap, this is the last year of his dead money. $6.5 million. Because last year was 4.2. So I think they did split it. No, last year was 6. Yeah, last year would have been just over 6 million. So I think they did split it, and I think that this would be it for his dead money, because I think they had to split it because of how high the number was. It was like, we got to make this a post June 1st designation. I think that's ultimately what they did, and then they didn't like get the money back from the league or whatever. So yeah, I think this is it for him. That's great. It'll line up well with some of the other dead cap now that we have to deal with. So yeah, let me see. Wingo should make a jump next year. Don't count him out. I'm definitely not counting him out. Like, I think that he could be a backup. Like, he could be a rotational backup. Some of Wingo's concerns I'm concerned about. Like, I think there's limitations to his game. I'm a big Wingo guy. Like, I like Wingo a lot. I also wonder about the role they're playing in. I think it was cool that he played defensive tackle and he made it work undersized. I worry a little bit when they play him at the 4-eye and things like that. Like, I'm worried about his fit there. I thought on paper it would work. I didn't think it looked great last year. He was just kind of getting moved around. He does not that long either. I think there's real limitations there. Like, but I think he can be better than, say, he's almost like Chris Smith in his build, but I think he can be better because I think of the way that he anticipates and his feel for the run scheme and that kind of thing. And look, he's got a little bit of juice as a pass rusher, which guys like Chris Smith don't really have. So I think he can be a higher level than that piece. Starting level, I don't know that I'll ever get there, but I think that he's like in line to potentially just replace a John Kaminsky who becomes a free agent this offseason. Like, kind of just settle in, kind of do the same thing. Not the same build, but kind of the same package, I guess, that you can bring to the table. Like I think that's kind of just a step in. You kind of replace John Kaminsky for us. That would be ideal. If he can be that, like, play a lot, play up and down the line of scrimmage a little bit, bring some flexibility. Just be solid when you're in there. Don't be a liability. Just be sufficient, man. You don't have to be the playmaker. Give us a couple, maybe give us like every other game. You give us like a couple pressures, like something like that. If we can get that, we got something. I'm happy with that. Maybe more though. I don't want to sell him short, but I'm just worried a little bit after last year with some of the concerns. But he definitely showed more, I think, as a pass rusher, especially early, than maybe what was even anticipated that fast. Like the dude was NFL ready though. Like the dude that was why he went low. I mean, he was limited upside, but dude was NFL ready. You know what I mean? For a young guy, like he was ready to go. It was cool, man. He came on the scene quick. A couple of these other guys that I had too. I want to go back to the big names that I had because I definitely reached on some of these because I was trying to like find names that like people know. Because some of these days people don't know. So it's like, all right, I got to bring names that people know if I'm going to title it that. So okay, let's go here. I put him in the thumbnail. I forgot we did that. I put DJ Reed in the thumbnail. If the Lions are going to go beg money in free agency, we just touched on the Malcolm Kuntz idea. I think that makes sense. But I think position-wise, I said this in the stream. If you told me there's one position that the Lions would spend big money on in free agency, and I would say that makes sense. Like do that. I would be okay with saying that's corner. I would be perfectly fine with being like they spent big money on corner. I'd be like, that makes sense. I would almost say that's probably right. That's probably the way to do it. Now, the weird thing is they don't have to do that, right? Because they could play tomorrow. They have the corners to do it. But like I would be absolutely down with that. I want to bring back Carlton. I think it should be a priority to bring back Carlton. But if they don't, and we said we just go in a different option, the guy in free agency that's also big money that I think is an easy plug in and play fit is DJ Reed. I think that he fits incredibly well. He's undersized, but at 5'9", 190, but he fits like amazingly, I think, into a man scheme, the run defense. He plays wide even though he's undersized. And it was today what sold me, and I can show the play. Today what sold me was I watched him against Minnesota last year, and I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah. If we're going to spend big money on a corner, that's the guy. That's the guy right there for me. I can go with that. I can make a case for other guys. But that one just feels so darn obvious. If you're going to spend that big money anyway, maybe Carlton's like, yeah, let me go get that money elsewhere. Okay, do your thing. But if you still wanted to do it, PFF's projecting you're going to get the same deal in terms of per year. They're saying 3 years, 14 mil per, which 14 mil per, like, yes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on board with that. If we're going to make one big move, if it's at corner, I'm on board, dude. I think that makes a ton of sense. I think it changes our defense dramatically to have that. And I think it's also the stable of our defense. Like, you would then have DJ Reed as the starting outside corner. Rakestraw is his backup. Or no, take that back. I don't know how they do it. I think Rakestraw and Amik would compete then in the slot. Then you'd have Terrion out wide. But because Amik has 1 year left, and next year it's a great spot for Rakestraw to just step in and be the starter. Like, you would be low, and DJ potentially could kick in the slot. I think his skill sets is he could play slot corner. But, like, dude, it sold me, man. Paulson Adebo. I'm a big Paulson Adebo guy. Let me double check there because I know our Packers guy's a big Paulson Adebo guy. I can't remember what they had his number at. I've always been a Paulson fan, man. Every time we have to play the dang Saints, Saints just have really good corners, and those guys can all play man. They're all physical. They'll all press. So yeah, if we're talking like cheaper deals, like I got no problem with that. Is this what am I looking at here? I think I'm looking at the wrong thing here. What am I looking at here? Wait, this isn't even the right year. Okay, wait a minute. I'm like, Jalen Johnson. Hold up. This thing's showing me Jalen Johnson? What? Okay, hold up. They got his number on? I'm like, hold up, bro. Someone just got cut. That's crazy. I didn't know Jalen Johnson got cut. That changes everything. No. Did they list him? I don't think they did. Oh, yeah, they did. Oh, they're projecting him 3 years, $13 million. I think that's understood. I guess that makes sense. That makes sense. Like, see, something like that, I wouldn't be mad at that. Like, I'm on board with that anywhere. Like, again, if we're going to pay big money, go for corner, man. Go for corner. Let's lock that in. Let's pay big money there. Let's make sure that continues to be the stable part of this defense. I'm fine with that. We're not paying any other corners anytime soon. We shouldn't be. We're in a good spot, man. We're in a good spot. We could pay one big name corner. You think free agency we get Hunter Renfrow? I don't think so. Um, I don't think so. Right? He's been out of the league for like what 2 years. I don't think he's played in like 2 years, right? Unless he came back. Like I remember thinking about Hunter Renfrow like 2 years. I think it was like 2 years ago. We talked about Hunter Renfrow. I think at this point, I think it's unlikely to see him in the NFL. I don't know what he's been up to. Maybe he's been like doing. Well, wait, did he play last season? No, that's 20. All right, hold on. That's 2020. Yeah, he hasn't played since 20. Okay, so it was last year that he didn't play. I thought last year he was going to come back as an option possibly for us. Maybe that connection makes it interesting. I would say it's probably more likely that they would just bring back Tim Patrick. He'd definitely be cheap. There's no doubt about that. The guy, I think he'd definitely be cheap. Like if he's like, yeah, I'm going to play, I think he'd definitely be cheap. But I would guess Tim Patrick would be more likely because he also has a connection there. I would just be shocked, like that they would pull him out of, I guess, free agency or retire, whatever he's in right now. I don't know what he's in. I just don't think he was on a team last year. Like at that point, I mean, you could even, you think Tyrell Williams, right? Like Tyrell Williams was with him too. What is the last time? Yo, Tyrell hasn't had a stat since 2021. Oh, that's unfortunate, dude. Yo, it was that long. Dang. Okay, maybe not. Yo, bro, that's crazy. So that was his last year, bro. Did we ever find out what Tyrell was dealing with? Like that dude just never came back. He must have retired. That guy unofficially retired. Unless he officially retired, I missed it. I don't know. I'm not mad at that though. I'm glad you brought that name back because I haven't heard that one in a while. But I would really doubt it. I'd really doubt it. Plus, I don't think that's the style that we even need, to be honest with you. Like, I honestly think if they're going to go give, I mean, it's cheap, so it's fine. But I think if they're going to go give some money, like a wide receiver that truly can play out wide, win one-on-one on the sideline, I know it's not typically the route that we go. I think it would make sense with John Morton. I think that style is something they could actually look to kind of fill. I think that would fill. Pass rush is very important, but we created pressure last year. Like we created a lot of pressure last year. We're one of the top pressure teams in football. So to me, take away corner and pass rush for a second. Because I think pass rush, like the stats show the biggest decline, I think, there. Like without Hutch, we were basically the same defense outside of run defense. Pass rush, we actually created more pressure for most of the time without Hutchinson. And then the flip side is this, in coverage, when we lost Carlton, things really fell off in the back end. Like, not bad, but it wasn't the same. We were the best secondary in football, arguably, when Carlton was there. But I think the flip is this. I think the most, if we're just talking need, like what the Lions need, they need run defense. If we want to get more pressure, we need to stop the run. Because that fell off last season. It took a step back. The Lions have to get back to being a good run defensive team. That was the one thing. And I have numbers on this that I can get to y'all with this because we also did this for Bleacher Reports. It was great. By the way, y'all should check out the Bleacher Report shows. I mean, it's kind of the same stuff we're doing here. But like truly, the numbers fell, and I'm optimistic. I think Casey Rogers is going to help us. And I think if there's one area where you're like, well, where could we actually potentially get better after losing Glenn? I love Glenn, but I think we could get better at stopping the run. We were never an elite run defense. We were very good. We sometimes statistically were fantastic, where teams just didn't really run the ball that much against us, but their yards per carry was low. We did a good job. You know, we always had like issues pop up, and then, you know, we got our cornerbacks more involved, and we found ways to adjust to stop the run. Like, they did good things. But where it was last year, to me, was the biggest downfall of the defense. And actually, here's the crazy thing about this. So I went through the playoffs. We're not the only team that had this problem. So we know Philly won the Super Bowl, right? Obviously, if you're going to beat Philly, you're going to have to stop the run. Like, to some extent. Kansas City did that. They were in the Super Bowl for a reason. But I went through it last year. Watch these. I'm going to hit you all some numbers. So first off, teams that were in the playoffs, this is where they ranked out against the run in expected points contributed. All right, this is where they rank. Expected points contributed against the run. These were playoff teams. Baltimore first, Minnesota second, Denver third, Philly fourth, Tampa Bay fifth, Baltimore sixth, Green Bay seventh. All right, so the top 7 teams all in the playoffs. Houston 11th, Kansas City 14th, Chargers 16th. So top half, those are all the teams in the top half. Now here were the 3 teams that didn't make the top half. The Lions at 20, the Rams at 27, and Washington at 29. And we saw that firsthand. Like, we were running all over Washington. And then you look at how these teams got knocked out of the playoffs. They all got knocked out because they essentially couldn't. I mean, there's other aspects. Like I said, if we didn't turn the ball over against Washington, I think we could have beat them. Maybe we don't turn over the first time. I think we could have beat them. I think we could have beat them in a shootout without turning the ball over. But there's definitely 2 sides, and I thought the biggest issue was run defense. And if you're talking about truly need, because here was the thing is, Run defense was much better with Hutchinson. It still wasn't, I think, where we needed to be, but it was much better with Hutchinson. So we know he'll make us better. And when we just get healthier, there will be better. But I even think outside of Hutchinson, we need to get better against the run. And maybe that's strictly play calling, but I think as simple as getting better depth against the run. Like, Derek Barnes is going to help us against the run when he's back. If he's back, he's a free agent, so I don't even want to consider him. Hutchinson makes us much better against the run. The numbers show that. Alex and Jack Campbell coming back, they were here in the playoff game. Schematically, I think we could set them up better, but we have to be better in terms of depth against the run. Because once we lost who we lost, I mean, our run defenders were Trevor Nowaski, Muhammad. I'm trying to go through these names. I can't even read some of these names. My bad. Muhammad. We had Josh Pascal, who's probably our best run defender without Hutchinson. He was just fine there. He wasn't like an elite run stopper. Zadarius Smith. Like, none of these dudes were great run defenders at all. Everybody was kind of middle of the pack, maybe below average a little bit. So we need the depth there. And so all of these teams, right, three teams that got knocked out, those 3 teams that got knocked out of the playoffs that were all bottom half, they all got cooked against the run. 182 yards is what I think it was, yeah. So Philly went for 229 rushing yards against Washington. LA gave up 285 yards? Rams gave up 285 yards, and we gave up $182 against Washington. It's like every team kind of got gashed there. I thought it was very clear we got gashed against Washington against the run, and we didn't give ourselves opportunity. I always go back to Todd Walsh's point, and I truly believe Todd Walsh was speaking facts, and I think the Lions need to get back to that. Like, maybe there was just more focus then. It was like, you have to earn the right to rush passer. And I didn't think the Lions, not every game, but there were games where we didn't earn the right to rush passer. I think Buffalo, it's like, bro, we got to stop the run. And they killed us. Washington did, absolutely, because Washington was a heavy run team. Minnesota was a heavy run team. We stopped Minnesota's run somewhat. You know, I mean, they popped a couple runs. They popped a couple explosives. Remember, Aaron Jones had the cutback. But they were built through the run. Like, it's first off, it's just, I think the way football always is, but especially now, like, yo, you better stop the run because teams are just going to lean on that, especially these young quarterbacks. And now they're more mobile. So everybody's trying to run the football. Everybody's playing in through that. Everything sets up off it. Lions are going to continue to be that way. So if there's like one thing that I think truly is a need, it's run defense. Because across the board last year, statistically, the Lions were very similar to Philly, or maybe better. Like for example, like if we go offensively, Lions averaged 4.7 a carry, Philly averaged 4.9. They were second in yards per game, Lions were sixth. We were fifth in expected contributed points for the run game, they were second. And we had the third most attempts, they had the first. Passing game, we were better across the board. We had a higher pass rating. We had a better touchdown to intercept. Well, maybe not ratio, but we had 39 touchdowns to 24. We had 60 basically more yards per game passing and a higher completion percentage. So those were kind of like, all right, this could even out. This could be a good matchup. And then defensively, in the back end, we were great. We were great statistically in the back end. Like, that was our thing. But run defense, we were not. 4.5 a carry, worse. 98 yards per game. That was actually better because whatever reason, I guess teams just ran the ball less against us. 20th in expected points contributed, much worse. They were top 10 there. But pass defense, as good as Philly's pass defense was, we were first in pass rating. We were 30th in yards per game, which, again, teams throw the ball probably because they're trailing by so much so early. Touchdown to interception ratio was better. It was 18 to 16 versus them, who was 22 to 13, which is a problem. And our completion percentage we allow was lower. So, like, I think the numbers just say, like, yo, we got to get better against the run. Whatever that takes, that to me is step one. Let's find a way to not get cooked against the run. We have to get back to being that team because I think ultimately it's what killed us. And I think a lot of our losses were that. Outside, maybe not Tampa. I mean, Baker took off a couple times. But Buffalo, like, at the end, they just spread us out wide. Gap scheme, boom, we just got torched. And it was like, yeah, we can't stop the run. A lot of that was injury, 100%. Like, Brad hit on it, a lot of it was injury. But that's an opportunity where it's like, even if we're not trying to just, like, we need a new starter, get better depth. Like, we have to get better depth that can get back to stopping the run. And I'm not saying they haven't invested there, but if that's the one thing I'd be like, we got to get this right. Because if we do that, we'll get after the quarterback. Like, Muhammad got after the quarterback pretty well. For what you would expect, he got after the quarterback pretty well. Zadarius was a very good pressure piece for 40 pressures last year. Hutchinson was the best edge rusher in the NFL by a mile when he was healthy. I mean, he was 35% pass rush win rate. It was ridiculous. Garrett was 23. And obviously we know what Aleem's going to do against pass rush. Like, Levi was getting after it pretty well. I mean, Minnesota had like 9. He had his breakout game against Minnesota. But it's like, bro, if you because then we really could only play one way. Like, I felt like our best shot, which was why we could have beat Washington, there was a path to winning the Super Bowl. But I mean, think about this. If Washington went for $180 on us, which that was better than their numbers, but they were a very good rushing team. They were very diverse. We talked about that. That was the best thing for me with Washington is they were very diverse with run scheme. If they were going to run for 180, Philly could have put 250 on us. Like Philly could have went for 250 yards in a playoff game. We may have had no shot in that game. It may have been the exact same situation. Like we better score every time we get the ball. And I think that was the path. It was like we need to play with a lead. We need to get teams to pass because we have a very good pass defense. We got to get teams there. And I think I know why we have a good pass defense because our linebackers and safety specifically are the core. And we have guys that can take away usually the easiest targets. We can take away backs. We can take away tight ends. We're pretty darn good in the slot. So like we take away easy targets for teams. We make them work outside targets and we blitz. But it's like, man, you getting cooked against the run. It's like, bro, we better be playing with the lead. Because all of a sudden you get a game like Washington, turn ball a couple of times. It's like, oh, now we stop running the ball. Now they're running the ball. And it's like, yo, we don't have an answer for that. I think that's because I think if we were better, if we were like a top 10 run defense, I think if we were much better against the run, we could have played any style of game. I think last year's team literally could have played any style of game if we were better against the run. You know, we could have won any way the game went. But I think we were cut off in a certain way of how we could win games because of our inability to stop the run consistently. And that wasn't every team. It was just very good rushing teams. And unfortunately, the playoffs is full of those teams. That's the NFC now. Like, we know what the NFC is about. All right, like, hey, this is the life going forward. You know what I mean? We've done a lot of good things, but life going forward is Green Bay with Josh Jacobs. It's Minnesota who found a run game last year. They're not great there. They found it. Chicago's going to try to run the football. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Ben goes running back top. You know, just like, let me get one. They're going to try to run the ball. You got Philly. Now you got Washington. Like, dude, these teams are going to be running the football, man. LA became a darn run team. They might trade off Stafford. I don't know. It's like, bro, you get cooked there. It's like, man, everybody's going to it, man. It does. It absolutely does. However, Anzalone played in the playoffs. Hutchinson was our biggest impact piece. I've showed the stats. He was our biggest impact piece. We were much better against run. We weren't like elite, but we were much better against run with Hutchinson. And I think McNeil plays into it somewhat because he's going to be able to get over gaps at times to make plays. So like I said, I don't disagree. That's why I'm saying I don't think you need to necessarily get a guy that starts. You need to have better depth against the run. We need better depth pieces. And I also think that schematically, in some ways, we could just be better. Like, I think schematically, we could be better. I think we can put ourselves in better spots. I think Casey Rogers, if there's one thing that he's going to really help us with, and potentially, hopefully, Kelvin Shepard, who's a linebacker coach that may be more emphasis on the run game, like, that may be, like, kind of his thing, like, we got to stop the run first. If we can get back to that, even just stylistically of how we attack teams, I do think that we can be better against run by not changing anything. And we will be better for being healthy. Like, there's no doubt. This is a very good run team, you know? So the injuries, yeah, we don't need to get a starter. I mean, I could argue a lot of positions we don't need a starter. But if we're talking depth, which a lot of free agency is going to be, it's depth pieces, give me a one-year deal, plug a hole, a backup nose tackle. Like, why would that be a bad move? Like, that's why I kind of started this. I can show some clips. Why I started this with Jaron Reed. If you gave, like, a guy like that 1 year, $6 million, to me, that's a win-now move. That's like okay, we understand it's kind of tough for Browder to crack the lineup now. But that's really good because you don't want Reader playing every snap at this part in his age. You don't want him doing that. We need to take some stress off him. We want a little bit more rotation. And he could play both that role and he could play Aleem's role a little bit too. It's like if we had that guy, then all of a sudden it stabilizes things when that kind of goes out. Rather than like, all right, let's see what Martin looks like. It's like, all right, there's a lot of up and downs here. Very inconsistent. Let's go to Chris Smith. And it's like, okay, well, Chris Smith's got limitations. We'll play about 9 snaps a game. It's like, that's not the world I want to live in. It's like, that's a real straightforward need. It's like, we fix that. We got something, man. You know what I mean? Like because I think that's where the Lions are at, luckily. If we were going into free agency and we needed multiple starters, we'd probably not be a very good team. Like, we wouldn't be who we are. This wouldn't be a 15-win team. They wouldn't have done what they did because they would be trying to find core pieces in free agency. Like, that doesn't happen much. You know, like, it might happen if they play well and then they get an extension. Sometimes that doesn't even pay off. Like, we're not really looking for many core pieces. We could, like, hit one with corner, but a lot of it could probably come from re-signing. And if we just re-sign all our guys, we'd have our core piece. We don't have to do much at all in free agency. If they went out and said, we're getting back Levi, we're getting back Carlton, we're getting back Derek Barnes, Dan Skipper, like, you'd be like, yeah, okay, there's not a lot we need to do here. We're in a pretty good spot, right? So it's like, that's what I think free agency is going to be all about. It's going to be about that. It's going to be about this, the right depth pieces. And that's why I think that's the win now moves. Like, I think that's what it should be. How would you grade Terrion against the run? Remember giving him up some run TDs? Yeah, against the run. I'm trying to think. Oh my gosh, I love your picture, by the way. You got Madagascar. Why did you pick this? Like, how did you even get this picture? What is this? What are we looking at? Okay. Is that like, did you? All right. I'm not. I don't know what we're doing. Yeah. Okay. But yo, what is that, dog? Why did you pick that as your picture? Okay. I like it though. Madagascar, good movie. I haven't seen it in a while. I need to run that back. I need to run that back. I forgot the question. How would you grade? Yes. No, I mean I thought Tyrion, bro. Like I thought Tyrion, honestly. I don't want to say he was bad. I thought he was disappointing at times against the run. I thought he was gonna be a very good run defender. And I thought last year there were times that weren't great. Now, I think he was better like Kindle Vildor against the run. I thought that he was kind of a disaster at times trying to play the run. It's like, I don't know what he's doing. I honestly didn't know what he was doing at times. I thought he was a little bit disappointing. I'm not gonna say he's bad. I think he definitely has a skill set to be very good against the run. And I thought he was in college. So I'm not concerned really. But yeah, there was times that I didn't think it was great necessarily. Sometimes I thought it was awareness issues. Sometimes I was getting off of blocks, that kind of thing. I'm not concerned about it long term. But yeah, I didn't think he was great against run last year. Um, I'm just trying to figure it out. I don't know. I don't know what was the thought process. You know what I mean? Like, did you take that off your? Did you take a picture of your TV? Like, did you pause it? And you're like, wait a minute, let me get this. Uh, let me get one of these. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. Okay. Cooper had a nice season. Cooper also had a D line at 4 rushes. Cooper 9 to get pressure. Older comparisons 4 bet. Wait, who? Okay, I don't know. I don't know what dunk on it's Cooper. I honestly believe the Lions would have won it last year if we were healthy. All this, all I think so too. But I also think like we got like we got cooked. Like I saw a thing today. It was like, oh, Lions win if they're healthy. It's like, yeah, I definitely believe that. If they were fully healthy, they would have won. But nobody's gonna be fully healthy. We just got unfortunate. Like we obviously had it to another level. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't bad. Like it was like next level because it was so many like key pieces. Um, it's almost like could we have survived without a Leem? Like yeah, I think we could have. I think we could have. I mean, but it hurt. But if like you would have said, okay, it's kind of tough. But I guess it depends on matchup. But even if you went to like that Washington game and you said at cornerback you didn't have a Meek Robertson. Like I honestly, well, you didn't have a Meek Robertson. Dang, take that back. I'm trying to think. I don't know what's a good way to put. I mean, we missed so many. Losing a Meek was massive. All right, that's what I'll say. It's like the matchups are always going to matter. So I think there's like certain matchups where it's like we could have probably got away without having this guy. Like you may have been able to get away without having Decker in that game, and it's like that's not usually the case. But like we may have been able to get away with that if we could have gotten Hutchinson back on the flip side because he would have changed everything against the run. So it's like if we could have gotten him back, now we got something. You know what I mean? Um, I'm happy that Glenn is gone. I blame that any injuries on the coach. You blame Glenn for the injuries? I don't want to do that to him. I mean, was that an issue? I don't know. I'm not going to do that to him. Like I don't think that was an injury before. Look, man, we get guys that are also have an injury history. Like in fair, like Marcus Davenport's injury. We saw it happen. Right? I mean, his arm kind of just like gave out. Like I wouldn't. You think pushing him too hard? I guess it could be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, at that point, I'd probably put it more on Dan Campbell. That if we were gonna put that as the blame, I'd probably put it on Dan Campbell. Like, yo, you're the practice plan guy. Let's pull back on these dudes. Why are they hitting so much during practice? I don't know, man. I won't go there with it, but yeah, that's who's gonna start at DT next to Reader for the first half season till Liam gets healthy. Man, so well, we're kind of up in the air. Is it gonna take that long for Liam first half of next season? What was Liam's injury? I honestly don't remember what it was. He didn't tear something, didn't he? Like just break something? I can't spell. Liam. Okay. Oh, he did. He tore his ACL. Oh, that's right. I forgot he did that. Yeah, no, that actually does make sense then. He tore his ACL on December. Oh no, yeah, he's definitely gonna be out for a minute. Shoot, he might be out longer than that. Cause like I know they have the option, right? They have a 6-month recovery. I was told, but I don't know how in the world you'd be back in 6 months. Cause I'm supposed to be on a 6-month recovery. I'm about a year in. You know what I mean? So I don't know how you'd. He might be longer than that. To be honest with you, December 15th. He probably had surgery the next day. So he was probably hitting that thing. trying to think. If he had third surgery next day, so he got surgery immediately. I mean, for me, I was probably 2 to 3 months, and then I was like moving. Maybe not even that long. Maybe closer to 2 months after surgery. Probably a little closer to after 2 months. I was able to move around on it. Probably got the brace about then. Trying to think. Probably got the brace, and then how long did I have the brace on? 2 to 3 more months? Nah, not even. Maybe like a month and a half. I had the brace, and then that came off. So then I'm kind of in that next. Yeah, yeah. He might. It could. It's gonna be. I don't think it'll be a full year. Because like I didn't get mine that fast, and they're gonna be on him about the rehab. He's gonna be on it too. He'll be doing it every day. I don't think it'll take a full year. They'll probably do the 6 month thing because that's what they say athletes do. But it'll probably take longer than 6 months until he's like legit there. Dang, I forgot I even did that. So what? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Well, that's 8 months. He might. I mean, I would say there's a scenario where he could be back in August, but it's unlikely. Like I think they could lay it out there that you could maybe be back in August. But my experience is I would be shocked if someone could play in August. Like they basically laid it out like, yo, 6 months, you're gonna start running again, do your thing. So maybe like, hey, the medical doctors, bro. And if it's like, is it a clean tear where they clean when they went in and out with it? You know what I'm saying? Did they also have to deal with cleaning up? Was it they clean up the meniscus? Did they have to do that, or was it just straight ACL? Because I know that can pop it back a little bit. So if it was straight ACL and it was clean, he might he might be able to get back out there, bro. Um, I would say definitely by August he's gonna be off. He's gonna be off his crutches. He's gonna be working out. Because like right now I'm working out without anything, and I'm not even a full year in. So like he'll be working out by then. But it's just he'll be wearing a brace when he comes back and plays. So he'll have that, which will limit it a little bit. And I guess then at that point it'll just be how fast does he feel comfortable with it? Because like right now, bro, if I had to go, I wouldn't feel comfortable. I wouldn't feel comfortable like full go. I'd be concerned. It feels tight. And he's a bigger body too, man. Like I gotta believe a dude at his size that's like 320 pounds. Woo, boy, I gotta believe a guy that's like 300 pounds, bro. Like that's a lot of stress, dog. He'll be back next year. My guess, I'd throw my early guess at. I think August, October, November is a good guess. I think second half of the season. I think about midway through. Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. But I guess I just assume it's all unique. Like you don't want to rush it back because then you tear it again, you'll mess it up. But like, I mean, I don't know, man. If it's clean, man, and he's like he's hitting that rehab, like I know this process can speed up. I've had days where I felt great. Like I would I'm not gonna count anything out. You know what I mean? Not with I mean just shoot. I don't know how them NFL doctors are doing stuff, but I know that that dude probably has legitimately doing physical therapy like with people all the way up until he gets back. Like I would assume it's not like, hey, okay, now you handle it. Like he's probably going to physical therapy with people the entire time. And that'll speed up the process. That'd be my guess. But anyways, I don't even remember what the question is. I don't know how we got there. Same question. When we lost Jameson for 2 games, our offense didn't miss a beat. Question is, would you consider trading him? Got Miles in return. No, I don't think I would. I don't think I would trade him for Miles. No, I probably wouldn't. I don't hate the idea though. I hear where you're coming from because it's definitely gonna be tough to pay him. I would say I think J-Mo's about to have his biggest year, and I know that sounds obvious because like, well, he's just getting better. He got 1,000 yards. I think he's gonna have his biggest year of Morton. I think Morton's going to need Jameson Williams. He's definitely got a lot better. Like so, it's nothing against Jameson in this scenario, but no, I don't think I would. It would definitely help, alleviate the pressure of like paying big money receiver, and then also paying defensive end. Like you could, it still costs more than JMO. I'm sure it'll still cost much more. But personally, I wouldn't do it. I'm not like all bent on like, oh, we have to go get Miles. I wouldn't do it. I think JMO's about to have a really good year with Morton. I think he's gonna be awesome with him. So I don't think I'd do that. BJ Hill next to Reader. I think BJ Hill's an interesting option. I watched him a little bit today. He definitely would give us more pressure. You know what I mean? He'd give us more pressure. How old is he? I don't have his age on here. 6'3", 311. He'd be a little more expensive. Like that's for sure. He would definitely cost more because I think he's in his 20s. Pretty sure BJ Hill's in his 20s, man. I know he'd be costing some money. That's also the benefit of getting Levi back though. Like I'm glad that point was brought up because that's I mean, you bring Levi back too. You got a guy that can play that role in the meantime. That's why I think the Lions are going to bring back Levi on a short-term deal. I think he's going to get a 1 or 2 year deal. I think he's going to be brought back on a short-term deal. I think that's what's going to happen. DJ Reader's last year, so we need a starting DT anyway. We do. Now that'll be more nose, you know what I mean? Like obviously it'll be more of like a straight nose tackle fit. And Levi won't be able to do that. I don't think Aleem will necessarily want to do that. It's kind of a weird spot because ideally you were hoping that Broderick was going to be that, which he still could, and this would be the year to kind of get rolling for sure. It's year 3, like let's now get going. But then I just talked about a scenario of kind of putting a guy in front of him. I think that you can address nose tackle year by year. Like I first off, free agency wise, cost wise, I mean DJ Reader was top of the class and he didn't break the bank. So I think the Lions. I don't know what the free agency class is going to look like next year. But if they wanted to go another direction, I would assume that there's going to be some legitimate options. I don't know that BJ Hill can actually play that role for the Lions. I haven't watched him enough. I don't know if he can even do that. If he can, then maybe. But like even if they waited till next year, I'd assume they could find somebody immediately to play that role. Because it wouldn't cost a ton. Oh, shout out to Ed with the 199. I appreciate you. How would it work if we had Walker and Barnes? I think Walker would play DN. I think if you got Walker, he'd play more like. And I'm not the biggest on Walker, but I definitely see the skill set why people like him. You know, I'm not the biggest on. He's super long, covers a lot of depth off the line. I think if we had Walker, he'd just play defensive end. I think the positive for Walker is I could see where you would put him into kind of like the Marcus Davenport lane because of his physical build. You know, he's not as stout or as kind of like filled out within his frame, but I could see where that would overlap. So, and I think he can definitely play the run. I think he would just play on the line. I think he put his hand in the dirt and he'd let him rush that way. I think they could be on the field at the same time. I think he could play opposite of Hutchinson. I think schematically he could work. I still think he needs to get much better in certain areas. But like build wise, I think you could definitely put those guys on the field together. I actually just watched him yesterday. And the next video I have is Jack Sawyer. That should be the next one coming out. I'm pretty far into my Jack Sawyer breakdown, so that one should be out. Would you be okay with trading up at top? Yes, I would. And I think, honestly, I kind of think we're going to. Now, I don't want to put a position on it because, honestly, like, I'm open to whatever. Like, I don't think they'd have to go D-line round 1 at all. Like, I know I talked about stopping the run. I don't think they have to do that. If they wanted to trade up and do something else, that's fine with me. If they want to trade back, do something else, that's fine. I don't care what position they go first pick. I think it makes the most sense probably to go that spot because it's like an easiest spot to kind of fill in depending on what they do. So even if you brought back Levi, he plays on the inside. We'll see what they do with Za'Darius. I don't think Davenport's going to come back. It makes sense, but I'm cool with them not even doing it that high. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be cool with them not doing that. I'd be cool with them going, if they want to go corner, like, I don't think it'd make a ton of sense, but it'd be like, all right, he's a dog. You know what I mean? If they wanted to go safety, it's like, okay, don't really love that, but if you love the safety, all right, well, I guess we'll do it. I'm on over. You know what? But I think what would make the most sense would be offensive line, of course. So, like, if they wanted to trade up and grab, I always find it weird because it doesn't ever seem to happen. Like, the idea that the Lions will draft a tackle and, like, actually let him be the backup. I don't think they're going to do that. And I don't think you'd have to move up far, but, like, say they had to move up to get Grace Abel out of North Dakota State and they wanted to do that, I'd be perfectly fine with it. Like, I would be perfectly fine with a little trade up, go get Zabel. We'll see if he starts. Maybe he's a replacement for Glasgow after a year. I'd be cool with that. He play inside and outside, probably better inside. But yeah, I'm definitely cool with trading up, bro. And if it's DN, I'm cool with that too. Because I think it's also, you know, to have like realistic expectations for that DN. Like James Pierce is really nice. I don't know how to Abdul Carter. There's like a surefire defensive end, I feel like, in this draft. But I definitely think it's loaded towards the middle of the pack. So maybe if there's someone that stands out, like I could see Walker skill set wise standing out a little bit to him. But to me, he's not to like the Davenport level when he was coming out of UTSA. Like he's not that. I don't know who I would trade up for defensive end. At this point, I'm not sure there's a guy I like that much. I would trade up for Jalen Walker. Um, I would trade for Jalen Walker out of Georgia if I was gonna do it. Oh wait, hold up. My bad. I read a hold up. Did my guy say Mike? Wait. Who had that last comment I was reading? Because I just like led you astray, my guy. I think I read the question wrong. I was looking at my notes, and I think I was talking about the completely wrong player. Let me take back what I was just saying. I was talking about two different players. For whatever reason, these two guys' names have again. Did my guy that just brought up that name? Did he say what name did you say out of Georgia? Put it back in the chat. I don't remember what you said. I think I was talking about two different players. I've seen these two guys because I've seen people talk about one of them, and I'm like, okay, I get it. Like that's who that whole stylistic fit, that kind of thing. That's that conversation. The other guy, when I say Jalen Walker, I love Jalen Walker. Like I think that dude, that's a better that makes more sense to your Derek Barnes question. Okay, see now we're okay. See now it makes sense. You didn't say Mykel Williams. You didn't say Mykel Williams, did you? You said my bad. All right, I played myself. Look, I read that as Mykel Williams for some reason. So everything I said was about Mykel Williams. What you said about Jalen Walker, I would trade up top 15 to get him. I would. And how would he play with Barnes? It's a very good question. I don't exactly know. I mean, you could always have pass rushers. I think that he has the skill set. You could play him. You could play him at defensive end. I think you could make it work. He'd be definitely undersized. He'd be a little bit short in terms of length, but you could put him there. I don't know exactly how that would work, but I think year one, at very least, he's just a sub-package, amazing pass rusher. Jalen Walker, you said he liked Barnes. Yeah, I played myself, Ed. I read that out loud, and then I talked about a different player. That's crazy. I gave y'all the reverse card right there. That's crazy. He's probably confused, man. Like, yo, who are you talking about? Like, yo, this is not consistent. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, my bad. No, I would trade up for Jalen Walker. I don't remember what the question was. I'd trade up for him top 15. I don't know. They'll have to figure out how to make that work together. But even if they did re-sign Barnes, I would still be like, I have no problem with trading. We get him. Because if the Lions are who they are, which is the best player available, you draft the dog. I think Jalen Walker's a dog. My favorite players still I've watched. When would you have Shep and that's so funny. When would we have a Shep? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, at worst, from them specifically, I don't know, man. I'm thinking around draft, well, somewhere around free agency, maybe. Like if they make a couple moves, you know how Brad does his press, or maybe then, like when guys are I think when transactions are happening. But I would assume, man, at worst, probably around draft time. You know what I mean? Like there might be a little bit of gap here. Because they're still sorting some things out. They've like just made some hirings. I would assume there's going to be a gap, but man, I honestly don't know. I'm not that well versed in how that works. But I appreciate the 5-piece vision, Sel. Thank you, man. Jalen Walker. He like yeah, I played myself. I appreciate you. Jalen Walker's a dog. Give me Jalen Walker. Trade for Jalen Walker. I trade for Jalen Walker for sure. Yes, sir. No, that's I was playing myself, bro. Yo, what up? What about dude from Dallas? Odigizua? Play next to Reader. He actually could play next to Reader. I don't know if he's gonna be able to settle in against the run like Aleem McNeil can. I think that would probably be the issue with him. I haven't watched Odigizua really since he's come out of the draft. I know he's been a fantastic pass rusher in the NFL. I know that. Also, Odigizua has been a fantastic pass rusher. That's translated super well. Would he be able to play the run like Aleem? I don't think so. But if you definitely want inside pass rush, yes. And again, that's not going off of much film there, to be honest with you. That's the guy I'm going to have to check out. I didn't even know he was a free agent this offseason. I guess his contract probably just expired. I'd be surprised if they didn't bring him back. He's projected to make $21 million a year. Okay. Seeing that, probably not. I'm going to say probably not because DJ Reader, as someone brought up earlier, he's got 1 year left on his deal. I think signing Osa to $21 million a year, even if it was anywhere in that range to that big of a contract, would be kind of crazy. Like to do that and have because then I think you'd kind of be in a weird spot. You'd have to make Aleem the nose tackle again. I don't think they'd want to put that much money towards doing that. So I'm going to say no. But the reason they're projecting it that high is because of his ability to get after the quarterback. Like I would almost, yeah. I mean, this dude. Do they have his stats on here? Let me see. I mean, if he's if he's not that expensive, I'm a fan. That's just crazy. That's a crazy price, man. Like I don't think we can do that. I mean, if he was like the best nose tackle at pass rushing, then I think we got yeah, the guy's 280. Like then we got some. Oh yeah, he doesn't even. I don't think you can do that, man. If we didn't have a Leem and it was like, well, who's gonna get pressure for us? Then that's where you take that swing. I don't think we can do that here. What do you see Detroit playing legitimate 4-3-4 instead of our 4-2-5? I mean, if yeah, I guess you're probably basing that on the whole Jalen Walker thing. Maybe I mean I think it's still dependent on personnel. I think the only way that something like that happens is if they had a Zach Bond type, like when New Orleans drafted Zach Bond, and I think that was the vision. It was like they could play a little bit more base package. They didn't have to live in nickel as much. So if you had a guy that you felt comfortable with in coverage, yes. I don't think with Barnes they would lean more base. You know, most teams do the opposite, like Teron Johnson, Buffalo, they lean more nickel. I don't think they would lean more base heavy because with Derek Barnes, like I don't see that being the case. If they got a linebacker they feel really good about in space and in coverage, like based on linebackers I've seen, like if they had Demetrius Knight, maybe we see an uptick. I would still assume they're going to play a lot more nickel just because of how offensive play now, but they could definitely get into it more. I don't know what rate they played at it last year, but they use Barnes a pretty healthy amount, right? Like he gets and here's the thing too, Barnes plays off ball. You know, Barnes does both, so he kind of bounces back and forth, which is nice for us. Not huge on Walter Nolan from what I've seen so far. He definitely concerns me. A lot of aspects of his game concern me right now. Mainly his ability to hold ground. Obviously, he's very undersized. I'm pretty concerned. I haven't seen enough, but from what I've seen, I'm not super sold on Walter Nolan. I loved him at the Senior Bowl. Didn't really know anything about him. Went back to watch him. Not that excited about it. So I'm definitely lower on him. And it definitely for a fit. It's more of a fit thing. Like Walter Nolan, maybe I'd like him more somewhere else. And that's what I've tried to do with the draft videos. Really focus on like just the player alone, not really the fit. The team that is looking for the fit can draft him. But like for us specifically, I don't know that he fit that well. Maybe you could put him at like D end. Maybe Walter Nolan at D end could be interesting. Maybe that could be something. I've looked at Jahid Campbell, but it's been so darn long. That was like the first player that I watched after the season ended with Jahid Campbell. I don't even have my notes handy. They're probably in a different notebook, so I'd have to go back and look. But I think I've only went like one game, Jahid Campbell. So to be honest with you, I haven't seen enough. Like I remember when I first saw him, I was like, oh, this would be a good coverage piece. Obviously, sideline to sideline kind of speed. Like he'd be that. Which, by the way, because we're talking about linebackers, I put a couple linebackers on my list. And, you know, again, we're trying to like make guys fit, so that's fine. We don't have to have perfect fits here to just talk some names. Let's just talk about some good players. So the first one I had that I think would be pretty awesome. I don't think they'll do this, but if they did it, I'd be very excited. I'm looking at the wrong notebook. Is the Lions signing Dre Greenlaw this offseason? I don't know what he wouldn't. I don't think he'd start, but he's 27 years old. He'd be like the backup to Alex Anzalone, but I think he's interchangeable as an off-ball backer. He's a little bit undersized, 6 foot 230, but he plays bigger than his size. I think if you had a guy like that, it would like back to the point that I made earlier. He's projected like 1 year, $6 million too, because he's coming off the Achilles. But the game that he played in off the Achilles, he was awesome. Like he was awesome against the Rams. So they just cut his season short. It's a great opportunity because if he played the full season last year, at worst he's probably getting a 3-year deal, closer to $10 million a year, I would assume. Like somewhere in that range. You know, maybe not everybody would love that kind of style, but I would assume he's probably getting that. So that would be the only reason that he would be getting this kind of deal. But it's also perfect because I think when we lose, Alex is one of those keys to this defense. Alex is one of those players that are really hard for us to replace, like Derek Barnes was. I think Alex is just about at the same level, if not higher, to be honest, because when you don't have Alex, we don't really have a good backup for him. Like Alex is a guy that you can put on tight ends, and it's like, all right, that's pretty good. He's not going to shut him down, but he's pretty good. Same thing with backs and man coverage. And that's unique to us. There's not a lot of those good backers that can also play the run. The problem is Jack Campbell can't really do that. We tried like Zeke Turner last year. It didn't really work that well. If you had a guy like Greenlaw, he would be able to do that. Plus, the way that he plays the run and the way that we struggled last year, it's a little bit more of kind of like the Quan Alexander style, like with the speed that he plays with, the play speed. But the size is much better. The take-on technique is much better. I think a guy like Dre Greenlaw would be really interesting. I don't know that he'd even want to sign here because he'd kind of come in without a starting role. But my claim for him would be, look, first off, we're better than the Niners. Let's get that clear. But secondly, Alex Anzalone is going to be a free agent. So if Alex Anzalone we end up moving off of, I know there's not a huge age gap, but if you play well, you could kind of be like the replacement. The other thing that I would throw at him is this. Maybe you'll also go to your big deal elsewhere. Like, you don't have to come back here, but you could get it elsewhere. But I'll say, look, bro, we rotate our linebackers. You know, we don't leave the same linebackers on the field all the time. We rotate guys. We always did. So it's like, you're going to get on the field. You're definitely going to get on the field. So you're working with our defense coordinator is a linebacker coach. Like, I think Dre Greenlaw would be awesome. The fit would be kind of weird, but it'd be awesome. And then the other guy I had was Levante David. Obviously, the connections here. I think you could try to talk Levante into, like, yo, would you be willing to play on the ball a little bit? I don't know if he did that in the past. I don't think I never remember a time where he used to play on the ball. But if you could talk him into, like, would you like to try playing on the ball? Like, you're 35. I don't know if you even want to play next year. But if you do and you want to go elsewhere, would you be interested in trying that? Like, you got your D-line coach here in Rodgers. You know, we interviewed Larry Foote. I don't know if that's doing anything, but we did. We'll put you on the ball because your coverage issues showed up last year. Your change direction isn't great. We don't want you there. But you can rush the quarterback, 6 sacks last season, 30 pressures. I know you could play the run. You play with like that. You play with the incredible play speed for an off-ball backer that has the kind of length that we're looking for. Will make you a little bit straightforward as a piece. You don't have to constantly be on the field because that role is not going to constantly be on the field. And you can rotate as an off-ball backer. Like, what about that? I would make that pitch to him as well. I think it falls into a similar category. He would be more so because of the coaches that we have that he'd be like, yeah, I want to come here. I think Dre Greenlaw fits better. It's just that he's not maybe considered a starter, which is the problem. He might be looking to go elsewhere to get like more of an opportunity, especially if you're trying to get a big deal. That's understandable. But if you made it open, like, yo, you play well, bro, you could be the future here, maybe he'd consider it a little bit heavier. I think I'm trying not to count out anything, and either of those two would fire me up. Like, straight up, bro. They made either of those two moves, I'd be fired up. I'd be like, we got a lot better right now. We got smarter. We got bets. This is great. Are all the positional coaches filled? I think so. I think there could be some little things. I was looking at that today. I saw we have our tight end coach, who I haven't talked about. I didn't even know we had a tight end coach, if I'm being honest. So I know Steve Hyden left. I didn't even know we hired a new tight end coach. Did y'all know that? I had no idea. So I think we're in a good spot. I mean, Rodriguez. I love Rodriguez. I don't think Rodriguez can replace Alex Anzalone, especially because of what he brings in coverage mainly. But yeah, that's the problem, is we're kind of loaded at linebacker. But, you know, your second unit, Rodrigo next to Dre Greenlaw, like, I mean, you'd be a little undersized, but you can make that work. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm just thinking, man. I'm out here to have some fun, man. That'd be some fun. Those are some dogs, bro. Greenlaw was a dog. You know, I could just throw clips, bro. He was a dog last year. And I'm like, hold up. He's about this? Like, Zach, but I don't want to go to like Zach Bond level because now I'm paying like very likely a multi-year deal. He's coming off an elite season. Zach Bond would fit. I always thought Zach Bond fit. I always thought that was like a possible trade target for us because he was with New Orleans. He would definitely fit. And I guess at that point, if you're getting Zach Bond, it'd be for a different role. Like, I would get Zach Bond almost to replace Derek Barnes. That's what I would do. I would replace Derek Barnes with Zach Bond. That's what I would do if I was going to do that. So, but that's on like another level. Like, that's like, you know, you're going like big money here hunting. The other one's kind of like a swing, get some depth, that kind of thing. Nick Bolin's amazing. Nick Bolin's amazing. But again, like, I don't think they're trying to replace actively anybody. I just throw those two names because it's like, all right, one's a vet. He's on the older side. You can move him around. The other one, his price point could lead him to be a rotational piece. Like, if it's got to be a long-term off-ball backer, I don't think the Lions will do it. I don't think the player would have interest. Like, I don't know why Nick Bolton would sign here, to be honest, because I don't, like, it's like, okay, you just, is what, are we going to sit Alex? Unless the Lions are interested in doing that, I don't think they have any interest in that. I don't know why you'd want to sign here, to be honest. It'd just be kind of a mess. I mean, it'd be awesome. Like, don't get it wrong. It'd be amazing. But I don't know, like, why he would want to do that. And I don't think the Lions would be willing to give out that kind of money, knowing they have two backers that they like. Aziz from the Giants. I wasn't big on Aziz, man. I wasn't big on Aziz. Not at the trade deadline. I would like him more as a free agent signing. I didn't like him a ton during the trade deadline. So I would be fine with it. Like if it's a cheap prove it deal, that's fine. I don't think he ever played anything more than that. Like it's if you're bringing in Dre, if you're bringing him, which is probably what you're saying, it'd be a prove it deal for me. It's not gonna be anything multi-year. Probably, definitely isn't gonna be very expensive. Like he still to me needs to prove it. So I'm not as high on his D's personally. I know he's got some good production. I just didn't see it as much when I watched him on film, and it didn't stand out to me. So I never really got there with him. I don't think he was ever like in my list for like trade targets. But like I could definitely see their interest there. Like if you got a guy like Aziz Ojulari for depth over a guy like Muhammad, like that could be considered an upgrade. Muhammad was pretty good at getting pressure though, but that could be considered an upgrade, and he's got a chance long term. I wonder where his market's going to be. Like, if there is like, it sounded like there was a couple teams interested, and then it kind of just died like when it happened. But if there was like multiple teams interested, I wonder like if he's gonna get like a little bit of an interesting deal. Like I wonder how much is actually going to be interest this offseason from other teams, and if the Giants really try to hold on to him, because the Giants apparently didn't want to trade him, I guess, or maybe they did. I don't know. They didn't trade him, so I don't know. He's gonna be 31 years old this year. He'll be able to hang with these young cats. I mean, I don't have any concerns with him right now because I don't have any reason to believe he won't be able to. But that's why I'm like, Dre Greenlaw, like something like that, man, that could potentially be the future piece. And he's I think this is the last year of his contract, so it's a great time. You know what I mean? It's a great time. I love Alex Anzalone. I love him. I just don't think they're going to try to replace him this offseason. I don't think that's the way they would try to operate either. I think they would feel like that's not the way we want to operate. I just don't think they'd want to kind of give that message like, yeah, we're moving off you just because you're old. It's like, yeah, but he played well. It's like I don't think they'll want to. That'd be my assumption. Trade for someone right now sounds desperate than waiting to trade deadline countdown. Trade for someone right now sounds desperate than waiting. Oh, you think it sounds more desperate now? That's interesting. Wouldn't it be more desperate at the trade deadline? Because like, yo, we're doing something like while the season's already started. You think it'd be desperate to trade now? I think it's easier to trade now. I think it's harder because of what Brad pointed out, right? Like nobody has any depth. Like everybody's like, well, if I trade to him, I don't have anybody to go to. Everybody's kind of like out of depth. Like at least now, you trade somebody. All right, we can go get somebody else. We can address this. During the season, you can't really address anything. Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying it the other way? Like I don't think we need to trade for somebody. We can. I'm with it. It's fun. I don't think we need to, but I think we definitely can. I mean, we got later picks. You're looking for guys that can help you right away. Like that's the way to do it. And we got some amazing value with Carlton last year. Even if Carlton leaves, we got good value out of it. I'm not mad at what we did. I mean, Jalen McMillan's gonna be good too, I think, but I'm not mad at it. I loved me some Carlton. I hope he comes back, bro. I hope Carlton comes back. But like, bro, this is where I love Drake Greenlaw right here, bro. Put this dude in coverage, let him work, man. Are you concerned about Hutch getting back pre-injury for him? I don't want to say I'm concerned, but I have thought about like, yeah, this definitely could take a step back. I'm probably more concerned about the Aleem McNeil one because, and this is the only context I have. The doctor that's working on my leg told me that Hutchinson's going to be good. When he gets back, he's going to be fine. It was actually a good injury to have, not a good injury, but it could have been a lot worse. Like him shattering his leg like that was actually, it's going to be, it's going to heal well. And once it heals, he'll be fine. It'll be solid once it gets back. So he'll be in a good spot as soon as he gets healed up. And I think he said like he may never know if he could have played in the Super Bowl, but like he wants to think he could or something. I don't think I'm as concerned about that just based on that conversation. Based on that conversation, I would say that, okay, at least, I mean, that's the only guy I know that knows anything about these injuries. I don't know a dang thing. I'm going to be honest with you. Y'all ask me about like comfortability from injuries. Unless I've had it, I have no idea. Like, I don't know. I don't know, bro. I'll Google it real quick. You know what I mean? What's the, but I have no idea, bro. Injuries are like the worst thing for me to answer, bro. Because I honestly just don't have a clue. I have no idea. So getting to speak to a guy that also knew I was like doing Lion stuff, him telling me that, he was showing me videos of Hutchinson. He's like, look at this. It's like, all right. So I'm optimistic, bro. I'm like, all right, Hutchinson's about to be good to go. This guy breaking it down. So I'm optimistic, bro. Hutchinson's about to be a dog. You know what I mean? We're gonna be all right. We're gonna the Aleem one though concerns me more because like knowing where I'm at, like I could personally say like, ugh, this thing's a pain because it takes so dang long. But I assume that he's getting much better treatment. I'm just showing random plays in the background. I'm showing random plays of Drake Greenlaw, bro. Like I like his eye balance though, man. I really like his eye balance. It showed up so much in coverage when watching him. Like, I don't know, man. Drake Greenlaw's a dog, dude. He's a dog, man. And we keep it in what the Lions typically do. That's a Lions move. Like if we keep it a buck, that's what the Lions would do. They would go sign a guy like that. That's what they do. Talking about price wise. Oh, so you're saying it'd be cheaper at the trade deadline? That's probably true. That's probably true. Well, is that true? Maybe. Yeah, I can see that. I can see it being true. I don't know. Like teams are more desperate at the trade deadline. So you're saying like the other team's more desperate to get off him, or you're more desperate? Oh, you're more desperate to add him, so you're willing to give up more. Is what you're saying? That makes sense. Okay, I hear what you're saying. That makes sense. Gotcha. Trade up in the draft better. To be honest, I'm with that too. Again, I don't know who I'd trade up for. I'd trade up for Jalen Walker right now. And I only can go the guys I've seen. I don't want to just say like, yeah, I trade for that guy. He's a dog. I don't know, bro. There's a lot of guys I don't know. I'm working through it, but I don't know. Like, okay, so let's do this while we're here. And I got more free agent names we could talk about, but just for the fun, because I haven't done anything like this. Let me pull up. Explain it here. Wait, let me get to that comment 1 second. Let me pull this up real quick. This is dang. I got a lot of tabs. Cam Sutton, I see you, dog. That US up here chilling. Okay, got a lot. Stream beats. Oh, I forgot to put the stream beats on. We got to get the sound going again. That's okay. Let me put this thing on like slow. Put this thing on slow. Okay, let's just enter. Here we go. Is this thing gonna move? Okay, pause. All right. Can you explain the Eagles had so much success rushing on 4-0 game, never blitzed? Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't know that was a thing until after the game, until I saw the stats. I was like, really? I honestly wasn't paying close enough attention. To be honest, I just was like, I don't, I was glad they lost, but I thought watching it, like, man, it looks like they're just playing like cover 4 every play. I don't know if that's what they were, but that's what it looked like. It felt like they were just like, hey, you're not going to beat us over top. We're not going to give up the explosive. That's what it felt like from my memory. It could be completely, it may have been something different. But Fangio typically plays that style. Fangio is also not a heavy blitzer historically, I don't believe, so that makes sense as well. So I can understand why they went that route. I think it was just like, hey, we're not going to take guys out of coverage. We're not going to give you the big play, so you're going to have to dink and dunk us down the field. And I think they looked at it probably as like, who's going to do that? Because, I mean, the reality is I think they got matched up. It was a really poor matchup for Philly or for Kansas City. And I think there was a lot of teams that would have been a poor matchup for them. But, like, Kansas City probably would have matched up better with us because of where our health is at. Like, we wouldn't have been able to do what they did. Like, they had Tooney playing left guard. That's why I took Kansas. I took them by 11, and they just destroyed them. But it's like, dude, when your O-line's just jacked that tackle, maybe they should have tried to run the ball more, but they also fell behind. Mahomes made a bad interception that turned into a pick six. Like, they had their chances. I also thought that, too. A.J. Brown looked like the best receiver in the NFL. That dude was awesome. It was like, yeah, you can't cover that dude. A.J. Brown was just cooking. So, like, offensively, they had something for him, but, like, no, it was a great plan, man. And I think it's always the plan, right? Keep Mahomes in the pocket, make him win from the pocket. They don't really have a lot of weapons this year. That's a huge concern. They didn't have weapons at all. Hopkins leaves a potential touchdown on the field. So you just don't blitz. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing, man. But yeah, when your front just like completely outmatches the other team, like there were some plays in there. It was like, dang, they are lighting them up, bro. I think it was bad. Like I think there's teams that they could have matched up. Like I think they played us. It wouldn't have looked like that. We would have got after them, but I don't think it would look like that. Not like that, bro. You know what I mean? They got torched, man. It's crazy. It was crazy. Okay, yeah. So we got Cam Ward. Wait. Can I see the players available again, or can I not do that? I can't do that. I forgot I can't do that. That'd be cool. I don't know why I can't do that. Should I have picked every team? Okay, we got Cleveland. I should have sped this up. This is gonna take a minute. By the way, I always think Abdul Carter's weird. Like I get why they would do it. I just think as a Browns fan, I'm like, bro, we just traded away Myles Garrett. We drafted Abdul Carter. Like, what are we doing? Watch the Lions draft wide receiver. Well, tight end, honestly, probably don't do it in the first because it's so deep. But bro, there's some dudes at tight end. And I think Morin's gonna use some tight ends. May bring the fullback back. I think the fullback's coming back. If you didn't see the video, but dude, there's some dudes at tight end. Like Loveland could get round 1. I'm pretty sure Tyler Warren's gonna go round 1. I don't know who else would get in round 1, but I think those two could go round 1. There's some dudes at tight end. You know, maybe Mason won't go round 1, but he's nice. It's loaded at tight end. And it's like, bro, you're taking best player available at some point. Take a tight end. Like I think they should. You know, I would have no issue with it, man. You know, you don't really have a third tight end right now. You have your two you like. Take a tight end. I don't have any problem with that. I mean, if you can find a guy that can go win against coverage, just go take one, dude. At some point, let's go take one. Now, the flip side is wide receiver, not as loaded. So if they were going to get a receiver round 1, right, they'd probably have to go get Tet and just trade up and go get him. Because I don't know, maybe Matthew Golden, but I don't think they're going to. I don't want to say they're not going to. Here's the thing: if they took a receiver round 1, they're probably considering that idea of like, how can we? Is there a path for us to get off of Jameson Williams at some point? Like that would be my. I mean, dude, he went. Oh, I thought he went 3. What the heck? Like that's probably would be the case. If they did that, they'd probably be like, "Yo, can we get off of JMO at some point? Maybe open up our options a little bit." So I'm not mad at it. Like if you told me that Tet fell to 20, whatever we're at, shoot, I'd take him. He's sitting right there. Take him. Let's go. I would take him. I don't care what we need. We taking him at 20, whatever the heck we're sitting. 28. I'd take him at 28 if he was sitting there. I don't know about Matthew Golden. I haven't watched enough of him, but I know outside of that. Oh, Luther Burden. Take that back. If Luther Burden was there at 28, I'd probably take him. If either of those guys, would I trade up for him? Probably not. But if he was there at 28, I'd take him. I'm going to be honest. I'd take Luther Burden at 28. Right now, from what I've seen, that could change. But right now, I'd probably take him. But it's light. Like, this ain't a great receiver group. I think it's not super top heavy, and then the middle rounds are kind of eh. Can Detroit contend with Philly? Oh, absolutely. I think we're built to contend with Philly. Especially, like, when we're healthy, right? When we're healthier. I think we're definitely built to contend with Philly. Like, let me close these. I think we're definitely built to contend with Philly. It's just getting back there now. That's going to be a challenge. You got to get back there. We'll see what it looks like with the coordinators, man. I'm excited. We'll see. PFF's lot loader Walker will be there at 28. It's crazy, right? Like, they got him like 50. It's crazy. To me, it's crazy. But, like, I get it. Like, everybody, they do their thing, so I get it. Like, I wouldn't have Mike Green this high. So, we have differences. But, yeah, no, that's weird. It is kind of weird. But I appreciate the 199, Ed. I appreciate you, man. It's showing all the love, man. And I do think we can contend with Philly. I think we're going to, yeah, like, bro, I would have loved to see Philly this year. But our run defense, like, again, this year, we would have got torched against the run. And I don't know, if we play in week 1, it's probably much better. But, like, at that point, we would have got destroyed against the run. So it's like we would have had to play a specific game to beat them, which is fine. We just had to play that game. I'd like to figure that out a little bit more, to open up our options a little bit more. But, yeah, we could beat that team. We could beat that team. For wide receiver and A.J. Brown, like, how do we match up with A.J. Brown? With Carlton, it'd be a battle. I'd be fired up. I mean, who was it? Was it Mike Evans? No. Who was Marshawn Lattimore going against? Was that Mike Evans? I think that was completely different. Dude, no, I'd be fired up, especially a year two Terry on. Yeah, I'm on board. Yeah, we'd be tough. Is there a mid-round center guard you're looking at? Honestly, I'll be honest, I don't think so. Not right now. Let me get to the pick and see who's on there. Maybe someone will catch my eye. Like, at some point, I would love to do that. I would love to do it. Ken, there might be. I just don't know on top of my head. Like, I would not take Nolan at 16. Right now, I would not take him at 16. I would be. I don't know if I take him around 1. The Falcons taking a tight end, hilarious. I don't know what the Falcons are doing, dude. It says wide receiver. Is everybody like a free agent for them? And when I saw that, I was like, really? They need a receiver? Like, bro, okay. Like, do they not have dudes? I thought that was the thing. They were like full, like, dude, they need to, like, get another corner or get some sort of pressure because, like, nobody, I mean, Matthew Judon did nothing. They need someone to get some pressure. I did not trade up. We're just going to sit. We're just going to sit and see what happens. Hampton. Why would the Packers take another running back? This would be something right here. Hey, look, not taking needs. I'm with you. Y'all just taking best. Ray Zabel. This would be a great pick. Minnesota doing work. Okay. We got Houston. Armand Membu. Yeah, they need a lineman. That makes sense. Jack Sawyer. Okay. I don't know if Jack Sawyer is round 1. I don't know if he's round 1, man. Now with who else is out there, I don't know. I think when I do that video, spoiler, I don't know that I'm gonna have him super high. We'll see. When we doing the album live stream, album released today. Oh snap! We've been live for an hour 40. All right, well not today. Soon, maybe this weekend. I want to do like a Madden stream or something. So maybe we'll do it in that. I want to do something like that. Maybe we'll do something like that, or maybe when we do our mock off season, we'll kind of put it in the background. Phantom, I appreciate you joining, man. Check out Phantom's album. Needle dropped on YouTube today. That's fire, dude. No, I'm fired up to check it out. I don't want to do it now because I don't want to rush through it. For some reason, best wide receiver or DN. Oh, if you're saying the best wide receivers there, the best DNs there, which one would I take? I take DN. I take Abdul Carter. I'm cool with either, bro. You know what I mean? Like I'm open. I'm not closing the page on anything. I'm not gonna be that guy that's like, oh, it has to be an edge rusher. It's got to be like, no, it doesn't, bro. Take Kenneth Grant. If we took Kenneth Grant, would I be mad? No. Would I be mad if we took Tyler Williams? A little bit. Be honest. No, I'd be fired up if we took Kenneth Grant. Josh Connerly. Like, and depending on the tackles that are there, it's so good at offensive tackle. We won't do it. I'd almost put money. But if the Lions were like, hey, let me move back a couple picks and get a tackle. Like, I'm on board, dude. You know what I mean? I'm on board. Phantom, I got you covered, bro. You know, we're dropping those draft prospect videos. More to come. More to come. For sure. But I get it's early. It's early. I'm just trying to get ahead of it, man, as best I can. And look, if y'all don't know, we did like Roundtable Sports yesterday. We did a live stream. We did a first round mock draft live there. So we're gonna continue to do those every Thursdays, either on Draftaholics or Roundtable Sports. Every Thursday we're doing draft content. So if y'all just want draft content, we are on that, and I'm in those shows, so y'all will see my opinion there on what I know, I guess. Tate Ratledge. What that sounds familiar. What position is Tate Ratledge? I honestly don't. Is he a receiver? What position is Tate Ratledge, man? Is that a pass rusher? He is. I don't know him. I know a lot of these edge rushers. I know a lot of the edge rushers. You can tell where I focused. Okay. What is he? What's Tate Ratledge, man? Shamar Turner. They got a lot of Shamars there. I didn't even know they had a dude named Shamar Turner. Oh, guard. Okay. Dang, you know what? So I watched Tate Ratledge before the season a little bit. That's the last time I watched Tate Ratledge. I watched him before the season started. I'd have to pull my notes to see what I thought. I'm going to be honest, I don't remember. I don't remember top of my head. But if I had my notebook, I would have some notes on him because I did watch him before the season. I watched a little bit of Jonah. Jonah was at the Senior Bowl. He did pretty well there. I loved Willie Lampkin. I loved Willie Lampkin. Hey, Willie Lampkin might be my guy, Ken. This dude at 5'11", 290, he might be able to play center. Yo, I'm going to be honest. Willie Lampkin was a dog. And if there's a spot where it's like, yeah, be like as short as possible for a lineman, center. Willie Lampkin. Look, man, I'm a Willie Lampkin fan, personally. So that's my guy right now. Willie Lampkin. Anybody else here? Guard is just weak this year, man. Guard is trash this year. And look, we don't need to get a guard either. I think we will. We don't need to. Like, I hope Zeitler comes back. I don't know if he will. I hope he does. I really do. I would. Those would be my two priorities. Carlton 1, Zeitler 2. My two priorities, get those done. And then after that, it's kind of like Levi / Derek Barnes. Probably Derek Barnes first, then Levi. But, yeah, probably like that. Maybe Levi first because the Aleem injury. Flip that. I would probably put Carlton 1, Levi 2 because the Aleem injury. 3, I'd put Zeitler. No, those are interchangeable. Yeah, those are my three priorities. Okay, let's just say that. Stop. Calm down. But I don't remember where we're going. Oh yeah, no, guard's pretty whack this year. Tackle's pretty good though. Tackle's pretty good. Ozzy Trapilo was he was nice at Senior Bowl. Wyatt disappointed me. Wyatt disappointed me a little bit. Wonder if he'll kick inside. I like Jonah. I think Jonah could play across the line. I think he could play on the interior. You know, he played some right tackle there. Anthony Bellin. Like, yo, tackle's loaded, man. He had a fiery Senior Bowl. Yeah, there's some dudes here. Carson Vincent, bro. I was on a Carson Vincent train there, dude. I was like, who's this guy? Ursery was there. Connerly, was there. And look, Connerly had a good Senior Bowl, man. Like, I thought it kind of tailed off to the end a little bit. But the one play of Mike Green running over him was like the one major highlight for Mike Green, bro. Like, Connerly did a lot of good. Don't let that play make it look like Connerly was trash. He wasn't trash. He was actually really good. Really good. And then Donovan Jackson, right? He stepped in for injury this year, I think. Or maybe he was the guy that was injured. There's a lot of good tackles, bro. I'm like, I don't know who Charles Grant is. I'll have to check on this guy, William and Mary. We've already went there once. Dog. We might double dip, you know what I'm saying? But Jalen Rivers was there. Yeah, there's some good tackles. Okay. Yeah, I would go dude, at some point I'm taking a tackle in this class. If you can play inside, outside, that kind of thing. So I think at this spot, My best available right now would be Demetrius Knight at this spot. But man, there's a lot of options, dude. I would want to move back from this spot if this is truly how the board looked. I'd be like, let me get out of here. But I'd probably go, either decide between Jalen Walker or I would take Kenneth Grant or Demetrius Knight. I take any of those three. I think for what the Lions have, it'd make less sense to take Knight, but I'd take one of those two. I from what I've watched so far of Kenneth Grant, he wouldn't have as high as a grade as Jalen Walker for me. I like him at nose because I think that his footwork is going to translate to a little bit more flexibility on the interior. Let me see what I had. Yeah, he's got the lateral wide base, lateral quickness. I think that'll translate better. Plays a little bit of a better pad level. He's not going to do much as a pass rusher, which is a problem. It's kind of a slow process. But laterally he can move, man. He's got a little flexion. He can continue to work. Obviously, he's kind of a high motor guy. He's 6'3 and a half, 342. That's a true nose tackle. So if they did this, I'd have no issue with it. I mean, it would actually probably be really good for him to kind of be a backup year one and then allow him to become the guy next year. I think he could fit. He's 33-inch arms. It'd be good for him to come in year one, sit for a minute, and then become the guy next season or find to replace DJ Reader with Lee McNeil. Like that, it would set us up really well long term. So yeah, if he was sitting there, I'd have no issue with taking him. I'd definitely take him over Tyleek Williams. Tyleek scares me, bro. I don't think he's got the bend. He's always on his knees. I don't ever love that. Not for what the Lions ask of their guys. I'm never a huge fan of that. I want to do one more real quick just to kind of see because I've actually never done one into the second round. So I just want to see like who's even going to be there. Okay, so this time we don't have. He went 21. Like, would I trade up for him? As of now, no. But if he was there, I'd take him. So, like, again, I would be considering tackle. I'd consider Jahdae Barron, too. Colston Loveland. I think Colston Loveland's going to be really good in the NFL. I think he's going to be really good in the NFL. It'd be a lot to take a number 2 tight end, but I think he's really good. I think Donovan's going to be really good, too. Donovan might be an easier plug and play. But based on my grades, Jalen Walker is my best available for sure here. So I take Walker. Wait, do we have a second round pick? Yeah, we do. Okay, 60. Ooh, see, I haven't done this yet. Yo, who just went? Jared Ivey? Dang, some dogs went. See, that's the thing, bro. That's how good this edge class is. There's some dudes, man, that these three are good. I started watching Ashton a little bit. I think someone asked about David Walker. I haven't seen him yet. I've watched these 4. I've watched Barron a tad. Elijah just started. Savion, I've seen Savion. Like, this is such a loaded group where, like, even if you're just looking at it from a needs perspective, man, you could kind of chill out. Rucker was awesome coming into here. I don't know what he did this past year, but he was awesome. I loved him coming into this year. He also has, like, a really good build, I think, for what the Lions would want. He was at 265. Oh, he definitely put on some weight. He definitely had to put on some weight. That dude was explosive, man. Josiah Stewart, I think he's a high ceiling, high floor kind of guy. Robinson's a very good athlete, too. 6'5", 241. He's long. Like, all 3 of these would be nice. So we could, I mean, if this is how the board was going to go, we could chill. I think this is Texas right tackle, Cameron Williams. I don't think I'd take him here. My boy Darius Alexander's chilling. What? Okay, Darius. See, Sebastian Castro. Like, I ain't mad at that. He wants to play more zone, but I ain't mad at it. No surprise if we stick our nose in at Debo. We tried trading for him back in the same draft as such. Did we? I didn't even know we did that. Yeah, I thought we wouldn't be interested in Debo just because the price tag. Like, I didn't really dig into it that much. He'd be really good for us. Like, and so much of what John does is after the catch. So he'd be really good fit-wise, I think. But I thought because of the price tag, like, I was just like, yeah, I don't think we're going to touch that. We could trade a 3rd and 5th for Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson would be awesome. A 3rd and 5th for Hendrickson would be crazy, though. Like, hold up. What the heck is Trey Hendrickson's contract? A 3rd and a 5th? Or is he? Wait. Have they paid him yet? Have they not? They had to have paid him. I know that they're trying to clear up some cap space, but bro, like, cause I don't think they're gonna bring Higgins back. Giving up Trey Hendrickson for a 3rd and 5th would be such a steal. We're looking at $16 million. He's on the last year of his deal. Oh, so he need an extension. See, that's the problem, bro. It's the dang extension. Like if he had a 3 years left, I'd be like, yeah, do it, man. But just like, see, if you do something like this, I feel like you kind of have to move off. You might have to move off a guy like JMO or something. And I don't know if you were the guy who brought that idea, but something like that. Like Hendrickson would be amazing. And if it's a third and fifth and not two first, like Miles, I'd be more open with a 16 mil cap number. I'd be more open to trying to figure out how to make this work than Miles, because he's elite of the elite pass rushers. I'd be open to trying to just figure out how we make that work. So you know what, we might have to do a Hendrickson video. I like that. That's a good. It's a good name. I haven't really heard that one yet. Hendrickson and also Quiddy Pay. Hendrickson is interesting. I mean, obviously it'd be a problem financially, but like, dude, it's much more manageable. Henderson is so good, man. Okay, what are we at? Oh, Cam Scattaboo. See, I actually don't think I could take a running back here. I like Cam a lot. This is my number 2 running back. I think here, my best available might be Sebastian, man. I just did the video on Kevin Winston. Shout out to Kevin Winston. We could use a safety. You know, we could use that. Or Jonah. I might take Jonah here. You know what I mean? Jalen Rose is nice. I like him. I don't think we need it. I like him though. I think based on what I just did, I'd probably go O-line. Harold Fannin, there they got a 90. Hey. Deion Walker. Someone asked about him earlier. He was amazing in the. I gotta assume he's gonna go higher than this. I haven't really watched him outside of the Senior Bowl, but he was amazing there. Joshua Farmer had a great Senior Bowl too. How big is Joshua Farmer? Like 300? 318? Hey, Joshua Farmer will be someone to circle. I got to do a video on Joshua Farmer soon. This dude was an animal. It also looks like he has the build that could make a lot of sense for us. Neas People was awesome too. Yeah, he's just super undersized. Yeah, I would circle Joshua Farmer. It's so good on the D line this year. Jaden Higgins chilling here too. It'd be hard not to take Jaden Higgins. Honestly, if I think I was going best available, I'd probably take Jonah or Higgins, man, to be honest with you. I think I'd slide Higgins, man. I think I'd do something like that. And then I come back, give me Farmer next. Hey, we got something, dude. Oh, they gave me a D? Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop with all that. That's nonsense, bro. Hold up. Just because the last time, I promise. Just because, right? Just real fast. I wanted to see what would happen. Like, will this scenario play out the same way again? Oh, Gray Zabel's there. It's all right. We're going to do the same. I want to see if the same scenario is going to play out. Okay, so we did that. Bam, bam. Let's come back. Jane Higgins still there. Okay, so if I took Higgins, when's our next pick? 132? What round is that? Is that round 4? Should be. Oh, wait. Did they not include the... What round is this? Do we get a comp pick this year, or is it the next 2 years? I thought we had one this year. Maybe they just didn't include it yet because they haven't announced them. Yeah, that kind of messes you up. If we get one this year and they didn't announce them, that kind of throws this thing off. You know what I mean? I think we're gonna get one this year. Okay, yeah, no. See this? They played me, dog. Yeah, not having that pick really is unfortunate. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I liked Up and Stout. He was great. He was great, man. Dorian Strong was nice. I like Dorian Strong. I like this film better than what he did at the Senior Bowl. I like this film a lot, though. Dorian Strong's film was cool. It's good stuff, man. I mean, from what I've seen, dog. I'm a dog, bro. I'm thinking older than. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We out here just loading up, man. Y'all wanted pressure, y'all got it. Okay. This time of year, come draft time, the board will look completely different. It definitely will. It definitely will. Okay. Yeah, this is a disaster. See, at this point, I know something. I know the names of some of these dudes, but I watched Jimmy Horn. I did a full thing on Jimmy Horn. Yo, Jimmy Horn would be fun. Hold up, if we could take Jimmy Horn at 200, oh, dude, sign me up for that. Hunter Wohler, he was nice at the Senior Bowl. This guy might be a linebacker, man. He might be a linebacker. How big is he? I thought he might be a linebacker. Watch him. Yeah, 6'2", 220. He might play linebacker. Karen Reed was nice. We got a little Shepard. Oh, dude, I got so much love for Malachi Moore, dude. I think he's gonna be a stud. Malachi Moore is gonna be a sleeper. That dude's gonna be a stud in the NFL, bro. Even Malachi Moore, bro. That dude's gonna be an animal. Come on now. Come on now. Oh, and Ty Robinson's just there. I mean, what are we doing, bro? I mean, let's just make the pick. Oh, my computer froze. Oh no, we're good. We're good. We're good. Oh, actually, wait, no. I think was it Webster that I watched? No, it wasn't Webster. It wasn't him. It wasn't him. Hemingway's a nose tackle. I remember watching Tonka all his years because I always had to do the South Carolina games. Always had to watch Tonka Hemingway. Always had to put his name in there. Zero Stackhouse. Yeah, I'm not really high on that one. Let's just take our guy, bro. He's just chilling. Let's take Ty. What are we doing? Oh, we have another pick. Okay. Yo, we're loaded up here in the back end, man. Gonna have to we're gonna have to get to these names, bro. Hold up. Okay, I know it's Kari Franklin. Yeah, this is a disaster at this point. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me see. Let me what? Let me see what moves we can make. We gotta be slick here. Yeah, I mean Carson Benson, the only guy I know in this list. That's the only guy I know. I think I might have to take him. The only guy I know. Gotta draft the dudes you know. I don't know none of these dudes, bro. I'll be honest with you, dog. I don't know none of them linemen, man. That's crazy. What do we got at corner? Okay. I know these guys. Yeah. DJ Adams was good at the Senior Bowl. It wasn't BJ Adams. Was it? I think it was McWilliams. Tommy Hill. I thought he was good in the red zone. Did we add a safety yet? I don't think so. What do we got at safety? Dan Jackson's in there. Shiloh Sanders. Everybody's off the Shiloh Sanders train. I'm not. What are we doing? That guy can cover. Give me Shiloh Sanders. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, dude, we're nailing this draft, man. This is like, this one might be 100% correct. Like when people go back and like look at mock drafts, they might be like, "Yo, this guy, 100%." It's like, yeah, dude, been doing it for a while, man. I mean, that could be the real conversation. If someone saw this, they might think that they might actually think this was the draft. That might be how accurate this is. I was gonna take my boy Vincent. They might think this was the real NFL draft. That's what they'll tell their kids one day. They said, "Man, you see the NFL draft? Man, I saw that thing I thought that thing in February." You know what I mean? Let's see how we did. D, okay, cool. B, not bad. I got my boy Oladejo. He was fantastic. I like the A-. I appreciate that. Malachi Moore, he's gonna be a stud. Ty Robinson, dog. Little undersized, but dog. Shiloh Sanders, easy money. I don't understand. Why is Shiloh so low? Why is Shiloh so low, man? This guy, it's because he doesn't tackle well or something? Like, I mean, I liked him in coverage a lot. Carson Vincent. Oh, yeah, dude, we nailed it. Let me just download this thing real quick. What awards did I get for this? What's up, Daniel? What? Bottom 14%. All right. Well, hey, but let's be real, though. If you did a mock draft in 2021, you drafted Ali McNeil and Levi, you would have probably been bottom 14%. They'd be like, "What are you doing?" Well, this is the draft. Fortunately, I had to spoil it for y'all. 2025's draft. Honestly, you guys can just stop doing mocks and stuff. Because we know it's going to look just like this. A lot of dogs here. Shiloh's not good. I like Shiloh. I don't know. But you know what? In fair, when I watched Shiloh's before this season, I watched Shiloh's film in 2023, and I liked Shiloh. Like, oh, okay, there's some stuff here. Didn't watch him in 2024 at all. Outside of just watching games live. But I don't know what he did. Pretty sure he was over aggressive at times or something, but fire the front office, that's crazy. See, here's the thing. Charles always hates my drafts, man. Now this is Charles, you've come to expect you're gonna fire me, all right? This is why I'm not employed by Charles, because I'd be gone. I would have been gone by now. You know what I mean? Like, I can't win. So Charles, you're saying you don't like this? We get an amazing pass rusher. We get a dog at receiver for the future. What? I'm honestly a little confused with this pick. I'm gonna be honest with you. We are really, really light. But Malachi Moore? Come on, man. Dude, Malachi's going to be a dog. Malachi Moore is going to be a dog. I can't wait to see Rod grade. That dude's going to be amazing. I would love to add Malachi Moore. He might be like, if there could be like say like your draft crush, like that guy that you could be like, yo, I wanted that guy. That's Malachi Moore. I would love to put him on this team and just let him go to work, bro. I think it would be amazing in the back end. Safety, corner. Put him at either, dude. Either. We're drafting him. First two picks are great. See that? Okay, that's good. Need that 103 pick for sure, bro. They kind of did me dirty with that. I probably would have took a D tackle. I would have took a D tackle. But what I get? Awards earned 7th round. What does that mean? What's in a grade? Mock drafts, they're based on their opponents. Position value, team needs, and when players are picked. Where's their big board position? So, position value. Position value? So what? Why'd I get a D? Because I took a linebacker? He's an edge rusher. All right, so they cheated. Team needs. I'm pretty sure I filled a lot of team needs here. Pass rusher, wide receiver, pass rusher, safety. I mean, this is a lot of team needs. I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe if I took a guard, maybe. And when players are picked. I mean, all right. Well, look, chat. We've been live for 2 hours. I didn't expect this to be this long. I thought maybe 40 minutes. I didn't even talk about many of the free agents I had written down. We just been chatting, bro. But that's what the live streams are for, man. You know, that's the fun of them. I definitely want to get to some free agency talk soon. I got to continue with my draft stuff. So I think we'll trade up too. I'm gonna continue with my draft stuff. Jack Sawyer should be next. I think people were asking for it in my last video. They were like, "Yo, Jack Sawyer," so that's coming. Make sure I didn't miss on any free agents here that I just wanted to bring up. I know y'all brought some names that I wrote down today, so I'll have to check those out. Elijah Molden at safety, I think would be pretty cool. I think he's undersized. I don't know how much range he has, but I'd like Elijah Molden at safety. And Nate Hobbs from the Raiders. Nate Hobbs, cornerback Raiders, 6'1". He plays in the slot. I think Nate Hobbs could be a pretty awesome fit. I think Nate Hobbs could be a pretty awesome fit for us. Kenneth Grant. Hey, I took Kenneth Grant. Well, in the last one. They didn't give me Kenneth Grant. You know what I mean? Like I said, I wouldn't trade it for Kenneth Grant now. But I haven't watched it enough to get to that point yet. He hasn't got me there yet. But if he's just chilling, like, yeah, I take him. I mean, y'all got to get on Jalen Walker. If you haven't watched my Jalen Walker video, Keitho, you may have. I'm not saying you did it, but if you haven't, y'all need to watch that come back. I'm gonna sell some people on that. I'm gonna sell some people on Jalen Walker before the time is done. But that's because you love FSU. You're an FSU guy? I didn't even know that. Maybe I did know that. I forgot. Okay. FSU, I see you. Jordan Travis for the Jets. He's the starter now. Anyway, man, I appreciate y'all joining. I'm going to leave it there, and I will see you guys soon. Freak athlete. I want to call him a freak athlete. I mean, he is a good athlete for his size. There's no doubt. That's why I like him more than like Tyleik Williams, right? He moves laterally well. I didn't think he was a freak watching him, but I did think that it's like, okay, it's going to translate. He's going to translate. He moves well enough. I think that the big thing for me was schematically speaking, I think he'll hang against zone schemes. I think you'll be able to, you won't put him in spots where he constantly has to fall behind gaps. I think, to me, that's what he can do. He hogged down a running back. I mean, look, if we talk a straight line speed, like he's got some closing now. I put on here. I gave him adequate pursuit to the ball. So I thought he was fine there. Look, man, he's pretty quick off the line. That's the thing, dude. You know, for those big guys, he's pretty quick and he plays with, squared to the line of scrimmage. Like he could definitely be it's hard to be a first round nose tackle. So for him to do that would be pretty impressive. That'd be pretty impressive. I just want to say this. Jim Marshall for the Vikings never missed a game in 18 years. Lions players drive my flies. Soft as Sharman. Okay. I don't know, Jim Marshall. Steven, come on, bro. You can't just make up people, dude. We don't know who that is, man. What? Steven, what are we doing? What are we doing? No, man. I'll have to look at who that is. I don't even know. I don't know who that is. That's impressive, though, bro. 270 games. It's true. Okay. I believe you. No, I do believe you, man. What position? Was he like a linebacker or something? Because we've seen some Iron Men, in the NFL, right? But like usually at quarterback, right? Not like other positions. He could possibly replace DJ Reader if he retires soon. Oh, no doubt, dude. He would replace DJ next year. No, look, man. I'm with you on the scheme fit. All I'm saying is I wouldn't trade up for him as of now. But if he's sitting there, I'd take him. And is he above Jalen Walker for me now? No. I like him. Look at Siobhan Revel. I watched a little bit of him. I know our Vikings guy loves him. Watched a little bit. Definitely gonna watch him though. He's big. He can run. Like I know he's gonna have some excitement. Oh, he's a defensive end. Okay. Marshall ran the wrong way for a TD. Okay. All right, bro. That's crazy. So, that was so random, dog. C-Web just came in and dropped some crazy historical data, bro. No, man, that's okay. No, that's super impressive. What year was that? Or years? What is this here? Okay. It's just changing colors on my thing. So if I click change voice, let me not do that.
It says Elder. His nickname is Iron Man. Oh man, okay, you're cheating. Then you can't take Iron Man. You can't take Iron Man. That's cheating. No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna give you that one, man. You took the outlier. You took Iron Man himself. Come on, bro. What are we doing? All right, let me. Oh, can I not hear it? Or does it? Why does it sound like a monster still?
Yo, see, this is a problem. This is a problem. Is it fixed now? It's not going to elderly person. It's going to monster. Iron Man, Marshall. All right. Okay, this is not exactly what I looked up. Oh, David. Wait, no, that's not it. That's a player. Iron Man. I'm not kidding. Jim Marshall. He's got only one L in his last name. Oh, this guy's fake. This guy's not real, dude. He's got one last. Remembering the great players, Jim Marshall, defensive end, Minnesota Vikings, 1970s. Look at that. This is a good. This is a good way to end the stream. Look at this guy. Look at that guy. Look at them helmets, dude. What are we doing? That guy looks like he weighs about 400 pounds. I mean, that's a scary human being right there. Scary human being. All right, I'm gonna end it here, man. I appreciate y'all joining. See you guys at some point this weekend, and we'll have probably another draft breakdown video. But until then, see y'all then. Thank you all for tuning in. And if you ever have video ideas, send them over to me on X at Zero Dose of Dion. Check out the Bleacher Report, man. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They're on there still. So if you follow me over there, you can watch the replays. If you want some more content, we did a lot of free agency talk, and I really dove into some of these guys. So if you want to hear some free agency talk, that's the spot to get it, man. All right, I'm out, though. Appreciate y'all joining. Keitho, Steven, Charles. Who else was in here? Ed. I appreciate you, Ed. Vision Stealth. Y'all always showing love, man. Who else was in here? This guy's either Steven. Everybody else that was in here. I don't know where they went, but they were in here. Appreciate y'all.